My ex ruined our relationship, but won't leave me alone.
Give me one more shot, one more chance.
Hey, let me make your life a mess one more time. Firstly, I have really struggled to write this all down. Our friendship groups are so heavily entwined that it's got so many people involved now, and I don't even know where to start. So much has happened, and I'm doing a lot of work on myself after all this. By the way, this comes from user Stressed Pressy Messy on the r/OK Storytime subreddit. I, female 26, started talking to my ex J, male 23, in February. We were in the same extended friendship group, and I was really worried about dating within this group. I already had an ex in the group, C, who I had dated 5 years ago before he had met my friends through work in a small town, 2 years after we split. He had no idea they were my friends until about a year before a wedding we both attended. We're now on good terms after a lot of work, after a messy split where Chester cheated on me with his ex at a festival. We don't hang out or go for coffee or anything, but we do have a chat and get on well enough if we're both out on a night out. From the onset, Jay pursued me and messaged me. Originally, I thought he was gay, but it turned out he wasn't. I ended up finally agreeing to a date after our mutual best friend M, female 23, pushed both of us to pursue the developing feelings. We had an amazing first date, and we talked all evening. We went on more dates, and the topic of spicy sleep started coming up more. I had made it clear that I don't sleep with someone until a romantic connection has really been established due to past trauma that made it hard to connect after spicy sleep. He really understood and made me feel completely safe and relaxed with him about it. We love that. Our biggest disagreement was arguing over condiments and which are the best. He eats his fries dry, and that is truly abhorrent to me. As stupid as it was, it made me laugh, and it was like dating my best friend because he was already my friend beforehand. When things started to progress, we finally slept together, and it was great. I didn't feel sick having him in my bed, and he was the first man to stay in my bed after my last boyfriend who caused all my trauma. I told him everything about it in more details than I had with any of my friends, and he'd been so understanding and supportive about my issues and the commitment problems I've since faced after the severe trauma I experienced. Glad to hear you're on the path of healing, OP, for real. We started planning further in advance for things. In May, we had 2 big date nights planned. One was a work event for him, and the other was going to be an event with friends. My birthday was a few weeks before these things, as it is at the beginning of May, and I'd asked if he wanted to come on the day out with my friends. I made it clear that there was no pressure for me to come, and I just thought he'd enjoy the day, as a lot of our mutual friends were coming, as well as a couple of my friends from uni and childhood. He didn't even hesitate when he said yes. Our next date involved us going out for dinner, where he started making Christmas plans for me to spend time with his family. I ended up having a minor panic attack at planning so far in advance, because we were in mid-April at this point, and he stopped immediately once I said I wasn't ready to talk that far in advance. We'd agreed not to sleep with other people after the first time we'd slept together, as we were both serious about our developing relationship, or so I thought.
Oh no.
Oh no, here comes the cold water. My birthday came and we had an amazing time, despite the little things that irritated me. He was over an hour late, the boys had gone to the pub whilst I went to brunch with the girls, and they all ended up trashed and incredibly late. After a few stern words, they eventually showed up. I had a bit of a wobble about being the center of attention, but Jay took me off for some time where I was one-on-one with someone and talked me down from the incoming panic. We rejoined my friends at the pub, and he pulled me for a chat about our future. He asked me to be his girlfriend, but I told him I wasn't quite ready for a label. We then agreed to complete exclusivity, where we didn't see anyone else anymore, and basically committed, but without the official label, according to Jay. Interesting. After this, he spent the night chatting to my friends and told our married friends that he was going to take care of me and that he was serious about me, something they relayed the next day out of happiness and excitement. All of my friends loved him and were so happy for us. We left at 9 p.m. and he stayed the night, something that was becoming more routine. I loved spending time with him, and my work colleagues were all enthusiastically rooting for us, as I'd been single for 3.5 years with very little luck in the dating field. I was completely smitten with him and started to see myself falling head over heels in love with them.
Oh wow.
During our evenings, we'd talk about the days we were having, and he expressed his frustrations about his friends. Some of his opinions were questionable, to say the least, and were offensive. I called him out for the most part, but ashamedly, I didn't make it clear enough that he was being mean and shouldn't have said some of these things at all. He was going out of the country to a festival with the boys and M a couple of days after my birthday. I had no issues with this until M had asked me how I was so chilled with the situation. I trusted him up until M mentioned being chill. I am not famous famous for my chill amongst my friends. When I asked for more details, he explained that his long-term bad blood ex, L, female 23, and his ex-fling B, female 24, were both going as well. He'd completely omitted this, but I just noted it and didn't mention to him I knew as I started to get suspicious. During the week he was away, we'd gone from speaking every day to no contact at all. I'd assumed that he had no data, but he was viewing all of my social media posts within 10 minutes of posting. I knew something was up, but I had no evidence.
Oh,
Come on, dude. This guy can't
dude.
keep a secret. Once they were back, I still heard nothing. M came over for dinner and proudly announced that nothing happened when they were away. I didn't believe her. I knew something had. I just had no evidence still. Finally, after a drink, I asked to speak to Jay. He called me and I told him I knew everything. So this was his chance to tell me the truth. This was the biggest bluff of my life. Yo, OP's pulling the police interrogator tactic. He immediately told me that he'd slept with L while they were away.
Lisette, come on.
He even followed it up with, I thought about you the whole time. Oh, gross. Within 5 days of my birthday, he'd slept with her. He didn't even apologize for any of it. Not even those bad, I'm sorry I hurt your feelings apologies. After some insults hurled from my end, I ended it. I didn't cry until I was finally off the phone and M was devastated. M shared a hotel room with Lisette and she had lied about the night she'd spent with Jay. We had no idea if Lisette knew about me and she lived with one of Jay's friends, so he had assumed she'd known as Jay had told this guy about us. M stayed with me that night as I was a total mess. She had never seen me so upset as I normally have kept it together when things go wrong. She had known Jay for 10 years and decided to cut him out. We called married friends so we could let them know the situation and that I wanted to stay away from Jay, but I wanted them to stay friends if they wanted. I told the married friends that Em and I support their respective friendships with Jay. Realistically, I didn't want to be that girl who split up the group, and I didn't want them to choose between me and him. Surprisingly to me, they all cut him off. Yeah, that's a good group of friends. They said that they all found his actions awful and were appalled by it all, especially after the way he'd acted less than 5 days before with me and all my friends. Em and I spoke about it nonstop so I could piece my feelings together and work out where I stood. He'd made it clear that this was premeditated cheating during our breakup chat, and I couldn't fathom what I had done to deserve it. To be honest, you didn't do anything to deserve it. I can tell you that right now. I'm not perfect, and I never pretend to be, but I don't think I deserve this. Jay idolizes Chester. In the weeks that followed, I was egged on to confront Lisette for her part in all this. I reached out to Beth, who had heard on the grapevine about what had happened. I knew Beth through Jay and wanted to get to know her more before everything happened. We met for brunch and she just asked me what happened. I told her everything, sparing most details. She informed me that Lisette had no idea. I was so glad I hadn't confronted Lisette, but I had spoken horribly behind her back. I contacted Lisette that night to apologize for the things I'd said, and she immediately responded apologizing for the part that she'd played in everything and asked to meet up. I was hesitant, but we ended up going for dinner and drinks within a week. She told me everything about that night, including the fact that he wasn't as intoxicated as he'd made out. He used her grief from losing a parent to angle their closeness, and he'd even done something similar to her when they had dated the first time around. She explained about how he has since been saying that I was horrible and controlling, which is why he cheated on me. Garbage man. Throw this man into the deep space. I had one question for her realistically. In the month after the split, I'd unpaused my dating apps. On one of them, someone had liked me using my late partner's name and photos of us from before his death. I was shaken to my core. The married friends automatically said they thought Jay was behind the fake profile. I wasn't sure, but they were almost certain. I tore him to shreds in our breakup call, but surely not enough to warrant this. I needed to know if she thought he was capable of this. Lisette informed me that something similar had happened following their breakup, but she never knew if it was him. For Lisette, this confirmed it was him who had done this to her. Yeah, I feel like that's too much of a coincidence to not line up. You both break up with this dude and then you both get ghost profiles of your previous lovers who are now dead. Like he's trying to traumatize you guys. This guy sucks. I was devastated. It ended up being a rather lovely eve where I felt connected to my body and she's actually really lovely. We are quite good friends now, in fact. Lisette had a go at Jay for his behavior that evening after leaving. Beth cut off Jay as well, as her and I hang out so regularly now that she didn't want the negativity he brings around anymore. I heard rumblings that Jay has since said we weren't together, so it wasn't cheating and that I'm exaggerating. It hurts, but I didn't want to keep it going, really. Those who knew what happened knew. Those who didn't want to be involved had my full support. I just wanted to heal and move on, to be honest. And if I'm being honest, you guys can join us live on YouTube every weekday at 3 p.m. PST. Just tap that profile.
This guy's dirtbag. And you got a friend out of it.
Yeah, you did. It sounds like you got really a lot of solid friends out of this for that whole married friend group to cut them off.
I would encourage you to maybe look for some ways to like continue to heal yourself because I know you got cheated on. You have a late partner. You got cheated on like twice. It seems like you got a lot of stuff to work through, and you're probably already working through it.
Yeah.
But like maybe finding a therapist to help you
Therapist could
deal
be good.
with this stuff and like because it's emotionally heavy.
So that brings us to now. He was called out by Lisette's housemate. The housemate met up with Jay, who was acting as if he hadn't done anything wrong. Housemate and I were acquaintances, but he is close with Lisette, Beth, and M, so he knew everything at this point. The housemate was angry at him for his conduct and told him as such. He made the point that he has split everyone up and everyone is angry. So Jay got whiny and upset and sent apologies out. He sent one to M detailing how upset he was about the situation and how he's left it so many months because he was so scared, but he's done loads of growth. He sent one to Lisette about how he was so sorry for his treatment of her and he's sorry for not telling her the details about the week away. I had been reduced to the details. Lisette had 2 apologies, M had 1, and I'm still waiting. The married friends want apologies for his behavior and the lying on my birthday because he clearly wasn't serious about me. I don't think an apology would have changed anything for me, especially one he only sent because he was told off by his housemate, but I do think it would have given me that last bit of closure. I don't really know why I shared this, but I just think I needed to get it out. It's been months of working on my self-worth and just connecting with my friends. Friends and time are the best healers for everything. And on that, I certainly agree.
Agreed.
I'm glad that you have yourself a nice little friend group that's supporting you during this.
I spent months writing my ex a letter, and now she wants to read it?
That is what you do with letters, so.
I, 30 male, wrote a letter to my ex, 25 female, out of pure love and compassion for my own unsaid emotions and feelings towards her, and was never planning on giving the letter to her in the first place. I just used the letter to write my emotions and feelings on paper just for my own sanity and closure. The letter wasn't written as a love bomb, nor was it a letter to get her back. The letter wasn't written out of anger or blame, but more of an explanation of my perspective, thoughts, and feelings in a deeper way, which I'd never been able to put into words directly. Even though I wasn't planning on giving the letter, I had a lot of moments where I wanted to, and my goal was to make her just understand why I couldn't communicate in a way I always wanted to, because I felt unheard for a long time. By the way, this comes from user Johnny Blaze X, and if you want to submit your own stories, go to the r/OK Storytime subreddit. I'm Dakota.
And I'm Riley.
And I'm Keon.
And we're here to give good advice goofily, but we haven't experienced all these situations. We only know what we would do. So if you do something different, let us know in the comments, as OP says. You see, there was no room for my emotions and feelings, which eventually drove us apart from each other. I've spent weeks on this letter and have many versions of it. I've been working on it every day for hours and hours until Saturday, the 10th of May. We broke up on the 12th of January, 2025 after 4.5 years, and it honestly broke my heart. Due to our different communication styles, we both, quote, ran out of battery. When arguing or in a fight, she always wanted to communicate through direct conflict and always expressed herself with anger, fury, sadness, and other emotions. Yeah, maybe some positive ones. While I wanted to remain calm and simply fix the problem, looking for a solution, instead of blindly screaming and blaming each other out of frustration or anger. When I tried to express my feelings, thus finally decided to speak up, she got even more hurt and angry. This resulted in an unhealthy relationship where I felt unheard for a long time because I felt like I was walking on eggshells. I'm not going into full detail because that wouldn't add anything to the story I'm writing. If you have questions, I can always answer them. A couple of months after the breakup and no contact, I felt like I had so many things left to say because I had never truly expressed my deepest emotions towards her. This was the end of February/beginning of March. I started writing the letter out of pure sadness, love, compassion, and many other emotions, and I cried many days writing the letter while I was looking at our countless pictures, thinking about the beautiful moments we had together and everything came in hard. Reading the letter day after day, changing it again and again from different words to different sentences. It became a huge life project of 3 full papers with all my feelings written in an emotional and poetic way. I showed the final letter to some of my best friends, and they were overwhelmed by the depth and emotion of the letter. But we'll get there in a moment. I always thought I couldn't finish the letter because I had so many things to say. It became the last thing that would emotionally connect me to my ex and what we had. Reliving the moments again and again.
Like we said.
And again. Thinking about everything I should have said instead of holding back. But then the most hurtful thing happened that literally broke my heart and soul. On May 6th, I showed up at the gym and saw her working out as well. Eventually, she was talking to this other guy and thought nothing of it.
Lie.
Until I saw them kissing and smiling at each other at the same gym where we used to work out for years and kiss each other as well. A place where we had many intimate and funny moments together. She kissed him like nothing happened. She kissed him like I never even existed. My heart and my soul sank through the floor. The feeling that I felt in that moment is a feeling I can't explain to this day, but I'll try. It felt like utter destruction and betrayal of all of our memories. My love, feelings, and hope I still had for her. Anxiety, sadness, despair, darkness, pain, failure, and everything you can feel hit me all at once. I thought that I was going to throw up while having a severe panic attack and scream from the pain. I never had a panic attack in my life. That day, something broke in me. The guy left the gym, and I walked up to her. The first thing I asked is if she was already seeing this guy when we were having trouble in our relationship. She said that this wasn't the case and that she could never do that to me. She said she still has all our pictures, conversations, jewelry, and that she still cares for me. Welp, okay. I didn't know what to believe anymore. She asked me how I'm holding up, and I told her that the combination of the breakup and seeing her kiss another guy hit me harder than I can imagine, and that I'm not okay. I nearly started crying in the gym. She told me that 2 months after the breakup, she quote-unquote accidentally ran into this guy, and that she actually never intended to date because she wanted to work on herself. After chatting for a while, I said this to her, quote, I honestly wish you the best, and I hope that he can make you the happiest person and give you what I couldn't. I wasn't mad, angry, or jealous, but in pure grief like never before. I realized I lost her for good now. She then asked me if there's anything that she could do. I assumed to make him feel
Yeah, wait,
better.
this is still at the gym?
So I started to tell her about the letters I've been writing, and she wanted to read them. So we decided to meet up on Saturday, the 10th of May. Whew! I came home that night, and I cried like I've never cried before. I didn't recognize myself like this at all. Since the letter had many versions, which I've been working on for weeks now, I had to decide in just a couple of days which parts I wanted to give and which parts I didn't want to give. I was so nervous about that upcoming Saturday that I couldn't sleep. I couldn't eat and still saw that kiss in my thoughts, and the thought of them being together broke me even more. But I had to work full time, go to the gym, and finish the letter for good. I didn't know how, but I did all of it. Finally, it was Saturday, and I'm still really nervous. I could barely eat, and I've never felt this way. All scenarios ran through my head. Is there still a chance? What impact will the letter have? Will she receive it well or get mad again? Will I ever get the love of my life back? Will I ever get over her? What if I can't move on from this? It was all or nothing today.
OP.
You're going to make me roll my eyes across the floor, dude. I swear to God.
OP, you're acting like you're living in a rom-com or something like that. Like,
And honey, where's the com?
whoa.
If we're in a rom-com, where's the comedy?
Yeah.
Because I'm not laughing. I'm just stressed.
Yeah.
My eye has been rolled. I knew in the back of my head that this day could be the beginning or the end, even though my feeling leaned towards the fact that this is the end. To cut to the chase, since you've been reading for so long, here it is. I showed up at her doorstep and knocked on the door. She saw me and smiled and opened the door. Hey, she said, come in. She gave me a hug, and we started having normal conversations just as adults do. and I grabbed myself a drink and asked her if she wanted one as well. We sat down and I asked about how her life has been since the breakup. You know, the casual things such as work, family, daily activities, all that jazz.
You seeing anybody?
She told me she has been partying a lot since our breakup and just wanted to have fun. I think I'd leave after that sentence. I'd be like, you know what? Actually, I'm going to leave the letters here. Go ahead and read them whenever you want, or don't. I don't know. I got to go.
Okay, logistically, I was thinking about that though. I was like, oh God, the fact that she's gonna read these in front of him, like, oh, I think, I almost wish they had just been delivered and like you read them and then,
OP's just really upset because he's just thinking about Cyndi Lauper. Girls just want to have fun.
girls. Cindy was right. Girls do just want to have fun.
I thought it
I
was
should
just
have
a
listened
song.
to her.
I asked her if this behavior wasn't an escape from her own feelings, and she gave me a vague answer. Quote, I'm working so much, and I just want to have fun, okay? I'm doing all right. I could tell she was lying, but okay. Within the time we were together, she never partied or wanted to party. She started to ask how I'm doing, and to be honest, I said things at work and everything are okay, and I've been working on myself to figure it all out. But then I said that I wasn't doing okay on emotional levels, and I was at a breaking point emotionally speaking. Little did she know I was already broken.
No, she did know that because you did tell her.
Yeah.
You did
Probably
tell her
see it on your
earlier.
face. You don't. Dude.
This also like sucks just
This is
'cause
not.
I'm like, and it's hard, right? Because you want to be sympathetic, because breakups are hard. But at the same time, I'm like, this has got to suck for her.
Exactly.
Like this is, and
Guess
if,
what? Yeah, because she's painted as a villain.
if you're going through a breakup, like it sucks, and you do have to get those feelings out. You don't do that with your ex.
Yeah, your ex is not the person you go to like, I'm emotionally broken about our breakup.
No, you go
You
to
did
your
this to
friend, you
me.
go to your mom, you go to a stranger on a bench and let it pour out, but you don't.
Yeah.
Maybe that's like Plan F, but the stranger. Don't do that to a
And if
stranger.
I,
Yeah.
like, I
Don't
know,
trauma
like,
dump on a stranger. On a
Hey, listen, I'm not saying have that as your goal, but I'm saying that is a better.
It's better
in some ways.
than the last person you should be telling is the person
Yeah.
that is causing you this.
OP continues. She said that she was feeling guilty about dating that new guy, guilty towards me. I said that I wasn't mad or jealous, but extremely hurt by everything, but couldn't judge her about it since we are not together. After talking about more feelings and more personal stuff, I said to her that I have something for her, and I grabbed the letter out of my bag. And while I was explaining that the letter was written out of pure love and my final thoughts about our relationship, I started to cry. My voice started to break, and I couldn't even speak, so I gave her the letter, which was in an envelope. The letter wasn't written by hand, but typed out since my writing is terrible. She asked me, do you want me to read it now? And I replied, yes, please.
Yes, please.
In public.
Yes, please.
Yes, please. You're just a glutton for punishment at this point. That's what it kind of feels like. Feels like you're kind of really leaning into being as upset about the breakup as you possibly could be. Which is kind of, I can empathize. But you can't just stay in the pain for the rest of your life. While she was reading it, I couldn't control my emotions and cried while she was reading. When she was done reading, she came to me and started crying and hugged me tight. We both started crying while we were hugging each other, and she told me that this was the most beautiful letter she had ever received. She told me that she was so proud of me that I opened up to her in this way and that I finally told her about my feelings. She said, quote, you are right. I have pushed you away emotionally, and I understand now. While she didn't apologize for her behavior during our relationship, I did feel an enormous sense of relief. Finally, I told my side of the story and my feelings, and she finally heard me. She told me how much respect she has towards me and how much I've grown as a person. She's always respected me, as she said, quote, you've been there for me in times where there was no one else, literally. There was no one else I could count on in the hardest times of my life. You are not the person I met 5 years ago, and you have grown so much, and I'm proud of you. I asked if she wanted to talk about her traumas, and she opened up about one, but this was the one I supported her through and through. She never told me anything about the traumas, and I hoped that one day she could open up so that I could understand her better, but that day never came. We talked some more, and I decided to leave. Excuse me if I don't remember all the exact details. It was a very intense night for me, but this was the most important thing. Writing this post took me days as well. So, thank you if you're still reading, and I hope it can help someone out there to have their own form of closure going through a heavy breakup. To be honest, this night couldn't be better. We had a beautiful conversation with a lot of emotions to it, and it is a great step for me getting more closure. I hope she can find closure as well, because I just feel with everything inside me, she's running away from her feelings. I came home and finally slept, but I would lie if I said that I'm doing fine. She texted me this right after. Quote, "Thank you so much for the letter. It is beautiful, and I'm still trying to understand it all. It has touched something in me which I'm still trying to figure out to this day. Thank you. I can remember that I felt a lot of pain. It feels like I've lost my soulmate, my best friend, and the love of my life all at once, and that hurts so badly. It feels like my heart is shattered into a million fragments of emotions, beautiful memories, and the thought we would last forever, due to the fact that we had a lot of fun together. We did have a pure connection, which I've never felt with someone else, but what I also slowly started to realize is that if she was indeed my soulmate and the love of my life, she wouldn't have left. She wouldn't have neglected my emotions and feelings so much by going into self-defense mode all the time. The absence and the silence speak volumes, and it's the most painful thing there is. My favorite person is gone and out of my life and dating someone else. Someone else will make her happy and be intimate with her and look her in the eyes and get to date with her. And by the way, you can't look us in our eyes, but you can put us in your ears by listening to full episodes with stories like this on your favorite podcast platform, iHeartRadio, Spotify, Apple Podcast, whatever it is. Just search OK Storytime, and you've got a whole motherload of stories to listen to. That is the painful reality I have to live with. That's true, brother. There's no coming back from this. If you say so, brother. I find her and miss her in all the smallest things I do to this day. It feels so heavy, like she's an emotional shadow that follows me in everything I do and everywhere I go. How poetic. Last couple of days are getting better, I must say.
Okay.
Ups and downs.
All right.
Thank you so much for reading. It took me a long time to write all of this, and whoever reads this and is still healing, know that you're not alone.
Hey, thanks, man. Hey, thanks. Put her here. Put her here.
Put her there. That's the end of that story.
I love my current girlfriend, but my ex just sent me a letter.
Burn it!
Yep, don't even read it.
Cast it into
Get
the
it out there.
fire!
That's not for your eyes. Call me Anthony, 32 years old. I have been with my current girlfriend, call her Michelle, 33 years old, for 4 years. No plans of marriage, and one time she cheated on me. Wasted, mistake, blah, blah, blah. Whatever, I forgave her. We were pretty much best friends that do everything together and live together. Other than the one instance of cheating, we have had no major issues and live a pretty good life. She does not want kids or marriage. I do, though. It's a hard no for her. By the way, this comes from Inu Fan for Yasha, and if you want to submit your own stories, go to r/OK Storytime subreddit. I'm Riley.
I'm Dakota.
And I'm Keon.
We try to give our best advice on this, but we haven't experienced most of what's occurring in these. So if you have any thoughts, get down in the comments, let us know. OP says, recently my ex, call her Nicole, 32 years old. Nicole contacted me over a promise we made back when we broke up. The promise is as follows. When and if we were both not married by 32, we would find a way to be together. Some backstory on her and I. Childhood friends, started dating in middle school, dated through high school. She was accepted to her dream college, and so was I, on opposite ends of the country. Virginia Tech for her, and Stanford for me. We did long-term for 2 years until deciding to let each other live their life and be more connected to maybe someone closer if it was going to happen. This was a mutual decision, and we broke up contact at that point so we could move on. Her parents still talk to me on occasion, live 4 hours away. Same with sister, 20 minutes away. And her grandparents, 2 hours away. But never about her per my request. So I have been getting calls from a weird number once every month since September, and I just didn't answer because I don't answer numbers I don't know. Figure if important, they would leave a message. Ex's sister comes by and says, hey, this is from Nicole. She said you can read it and respond if you want, and if not, then she will understand soon enough. For the life of me, I had forgotten our weird promise. But the letter goes as this. Hey Anthony, I know neither of us have been in contact in the last 10 years, but I'm asking if you still remember the promise we made. I have no right to ask about it, and if you have moved on, then it's okay, as I want you to be happy. First and foremost, I want you to know that this isn't a desperation attempt because I am lonely. My sister was quite keen on giving that as the probable reason as to why I've been feeling this way, and why I'm bringing up that old promise. This is more along the lines of I just can't imagine my life with anyone else. Yes, I have been on many dates and had one relationship that lasted over a year, but there was always this feeling in me, this lack feeling in me that, well, in all honesty, they weren't you. You're the guy I knew instantly when we're young that I would want to be with forever, the guy who made me smile, that I could wake up next to and was genuinely happy knowing we were together. In my mind, you have been my only want and desire. That day we decided to try and move on because of the distance. I won't lie, it took me about a year to realize how stupid that was. It was mutual, but my feelings are that I pushed you towards it. I honestly feel like the first suggestion of giving time to each other to finish school and not have to try and coordinate our lives was the stupidest mistake I ever could have done. Anthony, you are my soulmate, my love, my life, and that is why what comes next, I say with all fear aside. I am ready to leave everything and find a new job to move back to be with you. I'm fully prepared to do this if you even think there can be a chance for us again. I love you. I love you, and nobody else will ever take the place you have in my heart. I talked to my parents and friends. They are in full support of this. Also, thank you so much for being there for my parents when they needed help moving and working on Dad's bike and truck. I had no idea until a few days ago. I will be fully committed to being yours. I want to be part of your life and want you to be in mine forever. Growing old, seeing the world change the lives we live together as one, and most importantly, I just want us to be happy. I've wasted enough time holding back what I've wanted to say for the last few years. I love you so much. I want to live my life with you. I'm prepared to leave it all for you. And lastly, my love, my childhood friend, my soulmate, I'm more than prepared to be your wife and be the mother to our children. If I don't hear back by the end of the month, I assume you've moved on for the better and will do my best not to reach out again. If you decide otherwise, I have left my number and email. Love, insert nickname from childhood, Nicole. To be honest, says OP, parentheses, Anthony, I don't know if I should respond or what I should do. She left her number, one that has been calling me, and her email. I'm conflicted a lot, really. I literally cried when I read the letter, and it brought back a lot of emotions that I didn't think were still there. Since Michelle, Nicole, and I all went to the same high school, they both know each other, and I'm honestly afraid that Michelle will tell me to go be with her without a second thought if I told her about Nicole reaching out, only just knowing how she is as a person. I've been debating it since getting the letter yesterday. And since I always seek good advice here, I thought to ask the Reddit family. Okay, there is an edit. I talked to my current girlfriend first. We had a big talk that was the last 6 hours. We were thinking about what we are both wanting in the future. She made it clear that kids and adoption are out of her plan and suggested that we should just be friends if that's what I truly want in the future. I told her that I would still be friends with her no matter what, since we do all the things together, and she laughed and said, "No kids, and I keep my best friend who loves to do the same things I do. It's all good. Rather we both be happy in the long run. Don't feel too bad or think this is a mistake." We then talked about the letter from the ex, and she pretty much said, "Nicole sounds crazy, but if it's something I want to pursue because of the history we had, then she has no ill feelings of me going that route." Also said if it doesn't work out, then I can always go back to plan no kids and freedom. Thanked me for bringing it up, then in her typical fashion, joked about me going to be blue-balled for a while. The rest of the hike was pretty much us just talking like we normally do, then debating lunch.
Okay.
When we got to the trailhead, I asked if she wanted any alone time or not. She said no, and that she eventually thought this would happen as we got older.
What a abysmal relationship this has been. She's like, nah, basically I just thought we'd always break up. Cha-ching. The day is here. My investment, I'm cashing it in.
Cha-ching.
Cha-ching.
Oh, man. She asked me if we can still do the friend stuff until something else happens in our lives, and I told her yes, of course. She said no harm in that then, and that was that. We're at the mall for her girls' lunch, and I'm sitting at the table like a weirdo, huh? Yeah, until I call up the ex and see what she is like. That is it for now. Update 2 years later. After Michelle and I ended our relationship, parentheses kind of, nothing changed aside from living together, and shared a moment, Nicole and I started to make plans for when she came out here for her grandma's birthday. Talking on the phone a lot, emails back and forth, we decided on waiting to video chat or send pics to another since it wasn't too far off when she would be visiting, and we thought it would be a good surprise. The initial hello was awkward as heck. When she got out of the terminal, I recognized her right off the bat and was amazed that she pretty much looked exactly the same as when I last remembered. I had seen pictures of her sisters and parents, but I was floored by how much she hadn't changed in the last 10 years. Getting into the car, we kind of just stared at one another for a minute, and she started off with, "Well, if you don't drive anywhere, people are going to start honking, smart guy." That started our week-long catching up journey. We first went to go get some food and decided on pizza, parentheses, oh yeah. And it was pretty easy going from that moment on. We shared stories of what life had been like, showed off scars, looked at each other's trips and vacations, shared each other's hobbies, she asked about our old group of friends and who's still around, etc. That small first meeting changed everything in life for us both. I won't go into specifics or minor details on the following dates and days, but to say that week went by in a heartbeat is an understatement. When it was time for Grandma's birthday, it was like old times again. The family was easy to be around, we all joked and laughed and didn't have much of any problems throughout the week. Parentheses, our music taste was the only problem. Lots of fighting over that radio dial. The goodbye felt our week of vacation was over, and it was time to get back to our lives half a country apart. Fast forward a few weeks, and we decided that I go visit her this time around. Phone conversations were going great, and airfare was cheap enough. Texted before I got on the plane and told her my arrival time. Landed and felt like I was ghosted. Not there to pick me up, wasn't answering the phone, didn't respond to any text. Facebook said last online 4 hours ago. I started to feel like maybe this was some joke on my behalf and was worried. About 45 minutes go by, and I'm walking towards a hotel when my phone rings, and I find out she was so fancy about me coming that she spent the night awake, and upon hearing I was on the way, promptly passed out hard. By the time she got to me, I was a sweaty mess, but was apologetic all the way to her place and the following 2 days. We hung out the entire time, pretty much doing what we couldn't do where I live. Days at the beach, swimming, me getting in a small amount of rock hounding while she looked for critter, and eating all the Cajun food I could ever hope. In a nutshell, it went great, and other than the constant bald jokes, parentheses, I had shaved my head, meeting her friends, her dog, hanging out, and doing things we each love was just tranquil in each way possible. When it came time to say goodbye, she asked if I had any vacation time left, and if I did, if she could come back up for longer, and I of course said yes. 4 months go by of back and forth traveling on weekends. Can I say something, Dakota?
Yes.
I'm just gonna say, where's the I'll move right now energy? Because in that letter, she was like, I'm ready to move back. I'm ready to, and now I'm spending my Southwest points.
Yeah, true.
So-
You guys, I don't know. I think probably for the best that you didn't blow up your whole life and move there immediately, but that is a great
It is
point.
the better choice, but I am just kind of like, so what are we doing? Like,
Where-
what is the vibe?
What are we doing? You're just going from 2 different serious relationships with people you went to high school with. I'm sorry. There's so many other people in the world you
Nope,
could
it's
find
just Nicole, Anthony, and
connection
Michelle,
with.
and we're all just living in it.
Just bald Anthony.
Bald Anthony.
Or is it now Anthony
Parentheses,
bald?
Brackets.
Brackets.
4 months go by of back and forth traveling on weekends, always on the phone, and by that point, I feel like it's time. I ask her if she wants to move in with me. Immediately said yes, and we made our last vacation week into a road trip to bring her up to where I live. Our dogs got along, and she was able to transfer to a new department based pretty close to where we lived. It was a dream coming true, and it too went by so fast that honestly, it feels like it was yesterday. She actually asked me to marry her a few months later, and I of course said yes.
Oh, okay.
She had glow-in-the-dark rocks set up to ask me in our yard when we went up to the deck to watch the stars.
This guy, honestly, can't even fault that.
That's very cute.
I just have to now immediately look up, what is rock hounding?
What is rock hounding?
What is rock
It's probably
hounding?
just like lifting up rocks and like, I don't
It's hounding after those rocks.
It's mineral collecting.
So she proposes, he says yes. Well, it's been close to a couple years now since everything started. We have a beautiful daughter together, Ariana. Adopted. We had issues. She wouldn't be able to give birth.
Okay.
Our dogs are clowns and doofuses. Michelle and Nicole have met, and we are all friends again. They actually hang out a lot together. She has moved on, and we still do a lot of our favorite hobbies together as a group or separately. With the vid and us being at home nonstop together, it's been just fine. Were things perfect? No, but nothing ever is. We had our issues in the beginning and still squabble over stupid things at times. I know it's not stupid. Listening to full episodes with stories just like this.
That's right.
Go podcast hounding on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, your favorite podcast app. Search OK Storytime, find a critter, listen to it. There's another relevant update. But like I have to say, okay, as far as these go, sounds like it is kind of working out okay. Like, is this a strange circumstance? Sure. But like, congrats?
I just feel like it's starting with a poison pill. She sent you that letter. She said, blah, 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 blah. I'll do anything. I'll marry you. I'll blow up my whole life. And I feel like at some point, it's going to come back around and she's going to say, I left everything for you. And
I don't know. They seem incredibly
they seem
happy.
fine right now.
Yeah.
Right now.
Fine. No, they seem great.
Here's what I'll say. I'm glad that these two people found each other. You know? Like, I'm glad that we're not reading another Reddit story that's like, so I got this letter from my ex. Like, what? Like,
Yeah.
I'm glad that they are figuring this out together and nobody else has to figure it out.
It's a positive ending for sure.
Well,
So
let's
far.
see the update. To everyone that was part of the initial journey, I hope you've enjoyed this follow-up. This was the best decision, and my only regret is that we didn't reconcile our relationship earlier. This has gone by in a flash, and honestly, I can't wait to see what the future holds for us. Each day is refreshing, and a smile rarely leaves my face. I get to spend my life with not only my first love and childhood friend, but also with great friends and family that are always there for us both.
I refuse to take my cheating ex back, but my brother wants me to?
You have no authority here.
Hey everyone, I'm really trying to make sense of this absolute movie I've been thrown in. For context, I'm 20 and I was dating my ex-boyfriend, 21, for 2 years. My ex is my brother's best friend from childhood, so I basically grew up with him. I always had a crush on him, but only did something about it after high school when we started dating. And by the way, this comes from user Communication Fit 3498. And if you want to submit your own stories, go to the r/OK Storytime subreddit. So, I'm Dakota.
I'm Angie.
And I'm Riley.
And let's see what OP has to say. He was my world. We were perfect. There wasn't a day he wasn't by my side. I really loved him. 2 weeks ago, I found out he cheated on me with a girl at a party. He came to me immediately afterward, crying and asking me for forgiveness. I shattered, literally shattered like glass. I didn't even respond. I grabbed my keys and left him in my own house. My brother called me a few hours later saying he heard what happened and tried to comfort me. We talked for a while and I told him that I'm breaking up with him. He said that wasn't a good idea. I couldn't believe what I was hearing. Not a good idea that I break up with a guy who cheated on me? He complained that my ex was his best friend and he would be really bummed if I broke up with him. Like what? I told him I really didn't care. I didn't even think he'd still want to be friends with him after finding out he cheated on his sister. Anyways, I'm not getting back together with him. Don't get me wrong, I loved him a lot, but he cheated on me, and that's a level of disrespect I will never tolerate. My brother and I are not on speaking terms, and my mom is kind of on his side. She said that he's just defending his friend. I'm literally his sister. There's a lot more that went on in between, but I don't want to make this post too long. Let me know if you want me to go into more detail. Yeah. Am I the a-hole? Nah. And we do want more detail. Whoa. Yeah, I think literally I'm cutting off both of my brother and my mom at that point until they apologize to me.
Honestly, I feel like if man's best friend cheated, like started dating his sister, we'll just start there. I feel like it's always the kind of thing where it's like, don't you mess this up. If you lay a finger on my sister, you know what I mean? If you hurt my sister, I'm gonna hurt you worse. It's that kind of thing. Like, you want to be protective over your family members. Exactly.
That's what if your brother was Sylvester Stallone, he would have stood up for you.
Exactly. So it's like, that's so insane that he's doing the complete opposite of what's normal in this situation.
Yeah, and then the mom backing him up.
Yeah, dude. Come on.
wild. So we have some comments here. Number one is, so who's your brother cheated on before? You know, kind stays with kind. OP says, you're not wrong. But honestly, my brother has never been able to keep a talking stage, much less a girlfriend. However, if he does end up cheating on someone, I won't be surprised. Commenter 2 says, not the a-hole. Because of brother's actions, now he gets to share the a-hole award that your ex already had. You are 100% in the right, and don't let anyone tell you otherwise. Honestly, your brother's actions are worse than your ex's, in my opinion. As a brother myself with a younger sister, that is a sacred bond, and he broke it. I am so sorry you are dealing with this, and I seriously hope he realizes he effed up and makes things right. OP replies, I totally agree. The worst part is that this is absolutely not like him. We used to be super protective, and all throughout high school, he threatened to beat up any guy who came near me. I don't know what happened. Commenter 3 says, his friend is known, so you deemed safe. He didn't need to wear the mantle anymore. Playing the stereotype of in high school brother, was it love or obligation? OP says, honestly, I really did love him. I had a huge teenage girl crush on him all throughout high school, but I was scared it would get complicated or he'd reject me. I'd even write about him in my journal. It was really embarrassing. Commenter 4, was your brother with him at the party? By the way, not the a-hole. On the other hand, your brother is totally a butthole. This is the kind of stuff you remember for the rest of your life. Please update. OP says he wasn't with him at the party, and quite honestly, I don't think there was a party. I think it was just a scapegoat. Yeah, the party was in the pantaloons, my friends.
In the Japanese. The hills of Japani.
Japanties.
Peepees out. It's a great quote. I'll say it everywhere.
Peepees out.
Peepees out.
Brother and ex-boyfriend need to just go ahead and just do peepees out.
Peepees
Okay,
out.
clearly they're in it. They're down.
Yeah.
It is
Peepee-
sometimes
peepees
hard
out
to have a
party.
very like strong connection with the bro, but you can't act upon it because you both aren't like that way, but you also like love each other that much, but you can't have peepees out because then it'd be weird and to ruin the friendship, so you have to be friends and act like you actually don't like each other that way.
Dude, honestly, if cheating on your little sister doesn't ruin the friendship, I don't think peepees out will do it either.
Right?
Yeah.
In
honestly.
fact, I think that's really the only thing that's left to do. Update next day. I'll start by saying that when I told my brother, who is 22 by the way, I was breaking up with his best friend, he was angry. And I mean, like, really mad. He kept telling me that I was trying to hurt his best friend and have him deal with a bummed out friend. Obviously, I was taken aback. He then went to go tell on me to my mom. My mom called me really upset. She said that I should stop working my brother's nerves and all kinds of nonsense. I told her the full story because obviously my brother didn't. I told her how my ex cheated on me. All she said was, oh, and then hung up. I hadn't heard from her since. I won't lie, my mom has always favored my brother, but I excused it as a boy mom thing. She's never neglected me or treated me badly before. She just had an obvious favorite. I've also never been one to do the most for anyone's approval. A few of you had questions about my brother, too. Like if he was also a cheater, and if he approved of my relationship in the first place. For the first question, my brother is a loser.
Loser.
He's really immature, unlike us. So naturally, girls don't want to spend a lot of time with him. I've told him several times that he should grow up or he'll be single forever. So to answer your question, my brother has never even had the chance to cheat. As for the second question, my brother found it awkward at first, but then he got over it. Plus, me dating his best friend meant he'd practically see him 24/7, so I guess he didn't mind that much. He just didn't like the PDA and all that stuff. There isn't much.
He didn't like seeing that my sister is living out my dream.
Yeah, he didn't like getting viciously jealous
Yeah.
about all the smooching you
But
guys
at least I'll
did.
be around him more. That's
To be
how
right.
he was thinking.
I'll be right next to him when the smooches happen. And if I close my eyes tight enough, I can almost pretend that it's my smooches. There isn't much to update on. My ex has tried and failed to contact me. All my friends have blocked him, and no one is giving him any of my info. He's even tried contacting my boss. My brother is still insisting I talk to my ex. I continue to tell him to leave me alone. My mom is radio silent, and honestly, that's for the best. Will I get over this? Sure, but it'll take some time. I don't think this is something to get therapy over, but I'll need some healing for sure. Thank you for all your lovely messages and comments. It's comforting to know that there are people on my wavelength who understand cheating is a loser behavior.
True.
And tolerance for it is even weirder. And there's
Yeah.
another update the next day.
Oh,
It starts with an edit. Imagine they do, like the brother and the best friend do
They
just
just
end
get
up
together.
smooching.
smooching in the sunset. Honestly,
Smooching in the sunset. And
I'll-
honestly,
I'm
I
here
would
for it.
I would still be so mad about that.
I would be satisfied.
I'd be like, my
okay.
boyfriend who I've had a crush on all throughout high school cheated on me with my brother. Or
Yeah, that'd be
cheated
pretty
like
wild.
cheated on me and then got with my brother.
Maybe it was never a girl at the party.
Yeah.
Maybe it was always the brother.
Maybe it was always the brother.
Mm.
That'd be crazy. Edit. I want to preface this by saying I'm 1000% not getting back together with anyone. I'd made my decision from the beginning and they can try all they want, but it's not happening. I spoke to my ex again through text to tell him to leave me alone and stop trying to contact me. I also told him to come get the stuff he left at my apartment. He went on to tell me that he needed to tell me something, that he said he needed to tell me the truth.
Uh-oh.
I did not respond, but he kept texting anyway.
I'm so excited. I'm so excited.
He proceeded to tell me that he made everything up.
What?
The cheating story and everything? Oh, Your Honor, it's not what it looks like. That's not me. That's my long-lost brother who looks just like me.
Yeah, what?
Come on. Obviously, I didn't believe him at first, but then he went on. However, you guys need to understand that I really love this man and have for years, so there's a part of me that wants to take his word for it. Anyway, he told me that he planned the whole thing with my brother. Like it was some kind of sick prank. Who does that? He called it a test. A test for what? He told me to call my brother and tell him to tell me the truth. Keep in mind that all of this happened in a day, by the way, so it was crazy. He went on and on about how much he still loves me and how he wishes he never listened to my brother. I felt physically sick. It felt like whiplash. Girl, this is even worse than if he had just cheated on you.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Testing of any kind is such crappy behavior.
So you're the biggest idiot on the face of the planet because you thought fake cheating on me was somehow a test of what? My loyalty?
Right.
And so what you're looking for in a partner is someone who, even if I cheat on them, they won't leave.
Yeah.
Goodbye.
It's like you just made yourself look unloyal, you stupid.
Okay. We all know this guy did not fake cheat.
Yeah.
A few hours later, I called my brother and told him to open up just to see his reaction and if I'd get a similar story from him. Surprisingly, his story was somewhat similar. Oh my God, it's almost like these guys could call and talk to each other and create this plan together.
Yeah.
Except he made it look like he was just told to keep up with the lie rather than being part of the planning. He also told me that he was urging me to get back with my ex because he knew that nothing really happened and we would have broken up over nothing. I still think that is very stupid. I really don't know what to think. Who is telling the truth? Also, this isn't you breaking up over nothing. It's breaking up because he lied to you about cheating?
Yeah.
It's breaking up because he has now exposed himself as the biggest idiot this side of the Mississippi.
Yeah, exactly.
Why am I still in love with this absolute clown? A lot of questions and no answers. A few of you had some issues with my mom, and they're all justified. From a young age, I knew she had her favorites, but I'm very likable, so if I wasn't getting her attention, it really didn't bother me much. I know that sounds cocky, but it's the truth. We talked, and she told me that she hadn't known that I was cheated on until I told her and gave me a curt apology. I also don't know if she's telling the truth. She also told me that she scolded my brother for lying to her and hurting my feelings, as if that was meant to make me feel better. Anyways, our relationship will continue to strain anyway, so I'd rather not focus on that. But I want you to focus on the fact that you can listen to full episodes with stories like this one on your favorite podcast platform. Whether it's maybe iHeartRadio or Spotify or even maybe a little cheeky Apple Podcasts. If you just search OK Storytime, you can listen to the full archive. It's over 1,560 hours of stories. It's a lot.
That's a big number.
That's a lot of stories. You know what that makes me say? That makes me say, okay. We have a little bit more story left. I think your mom sounds like not the coolest cat.
Yeah.
Probably like, I don't know. Maybe you don't have to go no contact or low contact with her, but you can do my patented technique of silly babying your mom.
Yeah.
It's just like you don't have to, train yourself to give the things that she says less and less weight over time. Because it's hard to when it's a parent. Like, naturally, we give so much weight to the things that our parents say. But when our parents are just being silly babies,
Yeah.
we can't let
help.
that cut us to our core.
Right.
So you just go, oh, silly baby.
Yeah.
Silly baby can't apologize to me even though
Yeah.
she knows I got cheated on because she's just a little silly baby.
Because parents can be wrong sometimes, and you are able to think that they're wrong. So
It's true.
you know that you're right. He shouldn't have cheated. Or if this stupid lie was true, he shouldn't have tested you. He should have
Yeah.
trusted you. know?
Absolutely.
So
Let's get into the rest of this story. Some of you ask where my dad is in all this. Unfortunately, my dad is no longer with us. He passed away 12 years ago, and it still breaks my heart. I was always told that I was the apple of his eye, and his world didn't seem complete until I was born. I carry him with me everywhere I go. I find comfort in the idea that he would have stuck up for me right now. I love him so much, even till this day. I'm sure he would have stuck up for you, OP. I'm currently typing all of this very late at night because I've been pondering all day. This has practically consumed my life, and I'm sick of it. It also doesn't help that my town is relatively tiny, and everyone from my graduating class already knows everything. I'm more fed up than I am sad, but I won't let it bother me for too long. But seriously, can whoever is controlling the TV show that is my life give me a break? And there are some comments here. Comment 1, the prank story is a lie that your ex and brother came up with as an excuse to get you back together. Trust your gut and move on with your life. It will not get better, only worse from here. Commenter 2 says 100%. Original story says he came to her crying. That's a pretty good acting job for a prank. Even if he was actually lying for a prank, which is dubious. Why would you stay with someone who would manipulate you and play with your feelings like that? How could you possibly trust him again? OP says, that's exactly what I told him. Why would he put so much effort into it if it isn't true? And commenter 3 says, OP, it sounds like you have no support in your town or from your family. Quietly look for a job somewhere else, then disappear without telling anyone where you went. Start fresh without all the judgment. OP says, that'll be kind of difficult considering I go to school here. My town isn't a problem. I'm more upset that people outside my circle already know about it. I'll definitely be getting out of here after I graduate, though. Yeah, I was about to say, you don't just have to cut and run right now. Commenter 4 says, whew, man, what a wild update. Do you know the girl he cheated with? I'm like, this is all verifiable really easily. Regardless, I would trust your gut like everyone else is saying. OP says, I considered looking, but I felt it was pointless, true, and also I really don't want to know what she looked like. I'm a black woman in a little white town, which I love, but I feel like it would hurt if I knew he cheated on me with someone who looked nothing like me, and that is the end of that story.
I caught my boyfriend cheating, so I befriended his affair partner.
Devious little move right there.
I, 39 male, and my ex, let's call him Dan, 38 male, met at a mutual friend's party in 2014. We were together for almost 7 years. When we first met, I fell hard for him. He was handsome with a great smile, and we hit it off immediately. What attracted me most was his confidence, something I lacked back then. I was very overweight, almost 145 kilograms, which is 300 pounds, and never saw myself as attractive, so I was genuinely surprised when he expressed interest in me. By the way, this comes from No Upstairs 2736 on the Charlotte Dobre YouTube subreddit, and if you want to submit your own stories, go to the r/OKStorytime subreddit. We started dating, and within 2 months, we were living together. Even though we hadn't known each other long, things seemed great. I was happy and did my best for both of us. My work demanded extensive travel within the country, sometimes keeping me away for 10 to 14 days, which I knew was hard on our relationship. After one especially long work trip, I came home to find our apartment full of flowers and orchids. Aw. I love plants and was initially thrilled. I thanked him, and he beamed with pride at pulling off the surprise. This continued for a while, and I thought nothing of it, other than that he was showing me that he cared about me. Oh boy, was I wrong.
Oh, brother.
Oh boy. After about 8 months, I started receiving messages from random guys I didn't know. They usually said I should stay away from Dan because they were surprised he was in a relationship, having met him for dates recently. When I confronted Dan, he claimed it was a jealous ex. I accepted this explanation and blocked the person. Then it happened again with another guy, and again after that. The final message took me completely by surprise and confirmed Dan had been lying. This person described our apartment in detail, even the interior and bedroom linens. The message also said, I don't understand why you accepted that Dan keeps getting flowers from his ex. So those flowers aren't even from Dan for OP. They're from Dan's ex.
Wow.
Oh my gosh. It turned out his ex had opened a flower shop and was giving Dan flowers after he visited during my work trips. The flowers I thought were romantic gestures for me were actually from his ex to him. I was crushed. When I confronted Dan, he broke down crying with a sob story about how lonely he was, how hard it was being alone so much, and how I was to blame. I took this to heart and promised to change my work situation. No, we're falling for the manipulation. He claimed nothing physical had happened with this guy, just coffee and a tour of our place. Sure. I actually believed him and shouldered the blame for leaving him alone. When we moved in together, I'd left the place I'd lived for 10 years about 2 hours from our new location. I tried visiting my friends sometimes alone or with Dan. He was always weird around them, saying nothing, just staring at his phone and refusing to participate. This resulted in us not being invited to certain events, or rather, I was invited, but not him. When I tried talking with Dan about his strange behavior about my friends, he started crying again, telling me how hard it was since he didn't have any friends, and seeing how close we were hurt him.
Shut up.
Yeah.
Shut up.
That's stupid.
It's not the
dude.
right. I mean, you can feel that way, but that's such like the dumbest, most manipulative way to try to explain it.
I told him I wasn't cutting contact with my friends, but if he didn't want to go, I could go alone. He agreed, and things seemed to work out. A couple of months later, I'd managed to change my work situation so I didn't have to travel. I was home most days. Dan seemed happier, and I felt good too. But something was off. I'd basically stopped hearing from my friends, and when I messaged them, I only got short replies. When I tried to plan visits, I was suddenly told not to come with various excuses. Obviously, I was sad and confused. I replied that if something had happened and they needed help, or if I had done something wrong, please tell me so we could discuss it. After that, I nearly never heard from them again, despite my attempts to reach out. Oh my gosh, that sucks. What did Dan do?
Yeah, what has Dan done?
One day, Dan suddenly asked about my friends, acting like it was weird that I hadn't seen them in a while. Since he knew what was going on, I told him I hadn't heard from them and didn't understand why. Then he started crying again. He told me he'd been in contact with them and they'd said that they didn't like him or the person that I had become after meeting him. He was so upset that he deleted the conversation so I wouldn't see how horrible they'd been to him. Oh my gosh.
What?
I should mention here that I never looked at his phone or computer. That wasn't my business. I tried messaging my friends again but got no reply at all. Eventually, I managed to put things behind me and move forward. Years later, why are we here so long?
Years.
Oh.
Years?
This is terrible. Years later, I bumped into one of my old friends while out walking. She asked about Dan and I told her it was over. Oh. She gave a relieved sigh and revealed the truth. Dan had contacted them, claiming that I didn't want to hurt them, so I hadn't told them myself that I wanted to cut them out of my life. He said I was starting fresh with him and wanted to sever all previous relationships.
Wow.
Bro.
What an absolute loser.
Yeah.
But also, how are your friends not like, I'm going to confirm that though?
Yeah, right?
Because that's an insane thing to get, and none of us like you. It's an insane thing for us to get from you. So we're just going to really quickly make sure that that's the truth.
Right, especially too since OP had been reaching out to them and trying to go to plans, and they were the ones saying like, no, don't come. Like, what? That's very weird. I was shocked. We managed to mend parts of our friendship, but it was never quite the same. Fast forward a few years into the relationship. After getting a new job and making new friends, things seemed normal again. I got the opportunity to go to Scotland for a course. 3 months total, with 6 weeks in Scotland, 2 weeks in Norway, and then 2 more weeks back in Scotland. I discussed this extensively with Dan before deciding. He said it was okay, that we were in a good place, and this was an amazing opportunity. So I accepted and completed the course. Sometime after the course finished, a Scottish man contacted me. I didn't think much about it, assuming it was course related. He asked about hotels in Oslo because he was visiting. I asked who he was since I didn't remember him from the course. His next message shocked me. He got angry, asking why I didn't remember him and saying he felt like he meant nothing to me. He'd spent money coming to Norway because I apparently promised to date him. I was completely confused. While I stared at the phone screen trying to figure out who this guy was, he sent a picture with the caption, "Remember me now?" and it was a very intimate picture of him and Dan in a hotel somewhere.
Oh, does this guy think that OP is Dan?
Yeah, I think so.
Oh no.
Yeah, so Dan had borrowed my phone and forgotten to log out of his messenger. I just put the phone down and started thinking back on everything that had happened. I began realizing how manipulative Dan had been, gaslighting me into changing everything in my life and convincing me everything was my fault. I got angry. I got hurt and started planning. Ooh, we're planning something.
The plot thickens.
I replied to the Scottish guy, explaining what had happened. He got angry too. I gave him my email, deleted the messages, logged Dan out, and pretended like nothing had happened. A couple of days later, I flew to Edinburgh and met this guy Dan had deceived. We sat in a Costa Coffee scheming about how we could get some revenge. I love where this is going. I stayed in Scotland one night alone in a hotel, having told Dan I was visiting a friend and would be home the next day. Scotland is about a 2-hour flight from Norway, so Dan never suspected I wasn't in the country that night. When I came home, I acted like nothing had happened. On Wednesday, I suggested we go to Oslo for the weekend, have a little party, and spend the weekend in a hotel. Dan was excited and agreed. On Friday, we took the bus, chatted during the 90-minute ride, and checked into the hotel. Suddenly, my phone chimed. The plan had started. Dan and I went out for dinner, hit a club, and actually had a good time. What Dan didn't know was that I had booked 2 rooms. The Scottish guy had just checked in and messaged that he was ready. Oh my gosh, I'm so excited. OP is wording this so well.
Yes. Yes.
I said that I was tired and wanted to go back to the hotel. Dan reluctantly came with me. Very early in the morning, I snuck out and met my Scottish accomplice before Dan woke up. I let him into our room, and he carefully slipped into bed with Dan while I hid in the bathroom. I called Dan's phone, and he started stirring. After reaching for his phone and seeing that I was calling, he turned around and saw my Scottish friend lying next to him with the biggest grin, saying, "Good morning, sweetheart." Dan screamed, threw himself off the bed, and raced for the door into the hallway, stark nude.
Whoa.
Whoa.
My Scottish friend and I were laughing so hard. When Dan finally understood what was happening, he came back embarrassed, started crying, and told us how mean we were, claiming that he never cheated and nothing had happened. In front of your affair partner?
What an idiot.
There's no way you can get away with that. Like,
Yeah.
what?
Hey, dumbass, the guy's in the bed.
Literally.
We know
He hears
it's
you.
over. You cannot. The deception is gone.
Literally. He hears you saying that you never cheated when he's the one you cheated with. What? My Scottish friend pulled out his phone and showed the pictures and videos from their nights together. Dan got really angry, packed his things, and left. My new friend and I stayed in Oslo, having a great time and getting to know each other. He's a really stand-up guy, and we're still friends today. Nothing romantic ever happened between us, but we're dynamite as friends. And you would be dynamite as listeners to the OK Storytime podcast on Spotify, iHeartRadio, Apple Podcasts, whatever you choose. You're going to hear full episodes with more stories just like this one. But there is a little bit more to the story, but I mean, it seems like the plan worked. The scheme has scammed.
You did it, and you scared him, and you did it. But, you know, the sad thing is that he's definitely not going to take any personal responsibility or accountability for any of that. You know, he denied it until the very end.
Yeah.
And, you know, you probably knew that would happen, but you were just like, I just want to pull a little funny goof on him.
Exactly.
Just want to pull a funny little goof, a little goofy gaff on him.
But anyway, to finish this up, when I returned home, Dan was waiting. He came clean, and it turned out he'd actually dated 5 more guys and cheated with even more since we became a couple. We broke up, I moved away, and I'm now very happy in a good, honest, and loving relationship. I should add that his only reason for contacting Scottish men on different apps was because he wanted to find a Scottish guy since I got to go to Scotland. He wanted the same experience.
What a loser.
What? That's crazy.
He had FOMO.
Literally. I'm still being called an a-hole for doing this. His friends continue to blame me for the breakdown he had afterwards and after I moved out. The messages I still receive say I should have never left him and need to understand that some people are just more attractive and I should have let him do what he wanted. I don't think I'm the a-hole, even though I'm still being told that I am. I just laugh at them now. Yeah, laugh away.
You just take a little ha ha, hee hee, hoo 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 at that.
But yeah, that was a solid story. I'm glad that OP is not taking it too personally. Is not like in the dumps about it. But yeah.
Yep.
I'm co-parenting with my boyfriend's ex, and it's a nightmare.
Sounds like you need to wake up.
I started dating my partner about a year ago. He told me from the jump that he had kids and actively co-parented with his ex. Cool! I couldn't have the kids, so the idea of being a bonus mom appealed to me. By the way, this comes from Bicag367, and if you want to submit your own stories, go to the r/OKStorytime subreddit. I'm Sophia.
I'm Riley.
And
Oh my gosh, you do this all the
I
time.
know, it's bad.
That is the third time she's done it.
Today?
Not
no,
today.
No.
My bad.
Apologize to Keon.
I'm
Tell him
sorry.
that you see him
love
as a
you.
human.
I see you as a human.
Anyways, let's do it again.
I'm Sophia.
I'm Riley.
Oh, I have time. I'm
And OP says, I realized quickly, though, that their situation wasn't typical. On paper, it's 50-50, but in reality, he has them 80-20. She had moved too far away to get the kids to school on time without them having to wake up at the crack of dawn. She has a job with a set in time, so it's the only way they decided it could work. She does stuff with her sports and has 2 weekends a month. About 3 months into us dating, I had to go on a date with her, essentially for her to feel me out. It was their agreement. The whole thing was weird, but she approved of me, so I got to meet the kids. A few months later, I moved in. A few months later, you moved in? Girl.
He's a homebody.
Also, just like, what is the dad doing? I mean, personally, I feel like if you had kids in the picture, take a little bit longer, to introduce.
Yeah.
Yes, I 100% know by most people's common timelines it was fast. It was a necessity thing that ended up working out better for both of us. He's a disabled amputee veteran who has problems cleaning around the house. The kids also got into STEM programs across town from each other, so having someone else to take one is essential now that school has started. So you moved in so that you could help him care for his kid?
All right. You're very sweet. Seems like a very sweet thing to do.
It is a very sweet thing to
But
do. I just
also,
worry
You're giving a lot of yourself.
very
too quickly.
Yes. Honestly, they took to me really quickly and I to them. I couldn't imagine life without the three of them. I know he's ring shopping, so this is my fit. Here are the issues. She claims to want to co-parent with all of us. She has a partner. His ex-wife and them don't co-parent well at all. She wants better with me and my partner. Or so she says. She won't acknowledge me on social media. She won't take my pics from events and tag my partner and act like they are there together co-parenting. I eventually got tired of it and blocked her. He won't accept her tags now unless they really were doing it together and it's like a big day event. As far as the schooling goes, I know full well classroom management and grades is their area, not my place. But I do drop my bonus daughter off every morning. I will be going to field trips and helping with projects for both kids. Homework if needed, that kind of stuff. But anytime something comes up that it doesn't fall in her plans, she claims we need to put her before me. Example, meet the teacher. I could only go to the morning session, her the PM for our son. So me and my partner went. I introduced myself to the teachers as bonus mom. Said their mom would be at the afternoon one after work. Got the info we needed. Even pre-shared it with her.
Well, I like where this is going.
She got there and said everyone thought I was the mom, so in the future he needed to attend the events only with her.
Y'all, keeping up appearances.
Y'all, she can't even make a single school thing because her job times won't allow it. She's a teacher as well in another district, so the chances of her stepping foot at the school all year are slim. But we tried everything to make sure everyone was involved, and that wasn't good enough. Fast forward to tonight. We were talking about the school district scores for ours and the neighboring towns. My twin is a teacher, so me, my twin, and our older sister were talking about the scores. I mentioned it to the ex-wife, and she thought I wanted to move the kids' districts. I said multiple times I'd never move them from the opportunities they have here.
Yeah, they seem like they got pretty awesome opportunities.
Yeah, they go into a STEM school. Her response was, well, it's the parents' choice, so there is no discussion. You won't be moving. Bro, one, I'm a grown adult. Your agreement says 100 miles, so if we want to move, we can. 2, there are 4 grown adults here, and all of us can talk things out. If we did move, it would be to the higher rated district. She doesn't like that it wasn't her idea. She's 20% involved
She is.
in this parenting agreement.
I know she feels threatened by this. She
Oh,
feels
yeah.
threatened by you. She wants to have influence on her kids' lives, but she can't. Hot take. I don't think that this woman, the ex-wife, is the villain. I think her perspective on everything is I had to move for a job. I had a divorce. I want to keep up with my kids, but I can't.
Yeah.
And now the only way for me to voice or have any influence is to disagree with my
Mhm.
ex-husband's new girlfriend.
I think that's absolutely true.
Like, she hasn't done anything super a-holy yet.
Mhm.
There's some comments that she could have made better, but this is the only way she feels like she has control in the situation.
Yeah, I feel like she sees herself being replaced
Yeah.
and sees OP, taking a really big role in her kids' lives and a role that
Yeah.
she's not able to fill.
And she wants to fill it.
Yeah.
She just can't. Honestly, ex-wife, you got to have it out with OP. You
Yeah,
got to
gotta
have a conversation.
She told my partner, I'm just playing mom, and she's the mom. Bro, I buy your kids groceries, cook them dinner, switched my whole schedule so that they could get to school, something you wouldn't or couldn't do. And I go to all of their events. I don't parent them in the sense of punishment or telling them what to do at school or doing their doctor's appointments. But me and partner do discuss all of those things. He values my input and then makes the final call. We are a well-oiled machine.
Right here, for example, if they had that conversation, hey, I cook, I
Mhm.
pay for the groceries, the ex-wife could be, that's a good point. Maybe I should help out in those ways. Maybe I should help out with groceries. I want to be involved in my kids' lives
Yeah.
and put an effort in that, because this is the husband or the boyfriend. He needs help around the house because he can't do it all. OP's stepping in to do it. You just, ex-wife, have a conversation.
Yeah.
Even though you guys may not like each other, have a
Have
conversation.
a conversation. Figure out how she can be more actively involved. So finally I said, I can't do this, and blocked her in my phone too. Anytime I suggest stuff, she fights it anyways. Parties, vacations, sports, you name it, and she has to argue. So I said I can't keep giving her my peace. That means he has to go between us, so does that make me the a-hole? There are some comments and an update, but no.
Mm-mm.
I think that it is absolutely, like, in part, you are involved in this conversation because you are, one of the guardians of these kids now. However, this is his ex-wife and he needs to handle that, and he shouldn't be putting you between. I mean, not that he is, but you shouldn't have to be bearing the brunt of these arguments with
Yeah.
his ex-wife.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah.
Comment 1, not the a-hole, but I'm worried she will try to claim parental alienation due to your behavior. I think their dad needs to get a lawyer and consider going back to court to hash out a proper custody agreement. On paper, it's 50-50, but you say reality is more like 80-20. Already tells me they should have amended the custody agreement a long time ago. The ones who will long-term suffer are those children. If there are major changes, then the custody agreement needs to be amended every single time. OP says she used that term. I Googled it. I haven't met any of the requirements, though. We don't bash her to the kids. We inform her of everything. Sent pics of the school documents we were given. Comment 2 says, it sounds like Biomom doesn't want to interrupt her life or schedule for the kids, so she mostly dumps them on their dad, but then still expects to have full control of what happened with the kids even when they aren't with her. You're kind of being forced to step up faster than a step-parent normally would because their dad needs help, and Biomom isn't willing to make sacrifices for her kids so that she can be there and help out. That's not your fault, but you need to be careful here. You are in the worst possible position right now. No actual rights, but still given a bunch of responsibility. If anything goes wrong with the kids, you'll get blamed and everyone will call you the a-hole because they aren't yours and what right do you have, etc. While totally ignoring that you are one of the only people putting the kids first. I think the move here is for you to step way back on interacting with Biomom. I think the reason she wants you so involved is she sees you as another person that she can make take care of her kids for her by ordering you around. Going forward, all communication should be between her and their dad. You just keep doing all the great things you do for the kids. But now it will be with their dad's permission, and Biomom won't be your problem. He is an equal parent, and he is fully allowed to make parenting decisions without you having to deal with the Biomom directly. Comment 3 says, I don't agree with the first saying you're overstepping. You're doing what your boyfriend asks. You don't try to punish or anything. It sounds like if you have a discipline issue, you refer it to dad and dad handles it. At the meet, the teacher, you said, bonus mom, not your fault the teacher misspoke when mom came. You're not letting them break your boundaries, and your boyfriend in certain situations will have to be less laid back, though. Reply, maybe he's asking too much of OP. But I hope it's not asking you guys too much to listen to full episodes of stories just like this. Just go to Spotify, Apple Podcasts, or iHeartRadio and search up OK Storytime. But there is a little bit left to the story.
Only people that can intervene here
Yeah,
are you and I and Keon.
it's true.
We sit down the dad.
Yeah.
Sit down the ex-wife.
Yeah.
Sit down OP. Who would you call? Like, you have to buddy up with this one person. Who would you call?
I feel like I could.
Ghostbusters.
What?
Okay, you get ex-wife. Actually, I want to talk to the ex-wife.
I want to.
I don't want to talk to the ex-wife.
I want to talk to the ex-wife.
Okay.
Who do you call? Keon.
I just want to talk to OP.
I want
OP?
to talk to the dad.
Dad? Oh,
Perfect.
perfect.
Oh,
This
cool.
is perfect. So I feel like we all, number one,
Yeah.
we all have a one-on-one session.
Uh-huh.
Write down everything.
Yeah.
Number two, we act as their lawyers. So we speak to one another
No,
as mediators.
I'm not legally binding on that.
Too
I'm
bad
not a
you
lawyer.
are.
I'm
You are.
not a lawyer.
Well, we're not. It's like a lawyer, but we're not lawyers. But we all like mediate and we talk around it, and we like ex-wife would be like, she's doing this and this, and I'd be like, it feels like my client is as if OP you were taking her spot as a mom. And then what about your client, Keon?
My client is just a chill guy, so she doesn't deserve any of this.
Yeah.
Boom. Easy.
Perfect. And then we figure it out.
Your Honor, she said, "Leave me alone."
Yeah, Your Honor, you
Yeah.
don't understand. But I think at the end of the day, I think those comments are right. Your
Yeah.
partner should be taking more of the kind of mediation role between all of the speaking should be happening between him and his ex-wife, and not really, you shouldn't have to be put in the middle of it.
Yes, exactly.
But there is an update, folks.
Oh boy.
I turned it into dark mode.
Settings, top right. See the settings thing?
I don't see that, but yeah.
Give-
No,
give
but
to
I'll
me.
do it
No,
later.
no,
It's
no,
already
give
on.
it to
It's
me,
already.
give it
It's
to me.
fine.
No, I'll show you.
No,
Give
no,
it-
no.
give it-
It's not worth it
No.
right now.
Ah,
Update.
Just let me show you.
messaged-
Just let me show you. Just
stop.
let me show you.
Riley,
It's easy.
just do
It's
it
easy.
later.
It's
Do it
easy.
after-
No,
do
no,
it
no,
after
no.
the-
Riley,
do it after the
we're
episode.
in the middle of a story. She messaged him that she wanted to talk to me.
Wait,
but
we
it
got to
ha-
restart it. It wasn't on the thing.
Riley, update. She messaged him that she wanted to talk to me, that it had to be in person. She wanted to set the record straight so that I could see her point of view and believe her over my partner. We found out yesterday, that she's been spreading lies for a year that he SA'd her. If y'all knew him, you would know that he could never. She denies ever saying it, but it's a thing now. I denied her access to me. She wants a healthy co-parenting relationship, but is saying this? When she persisted, I listed out 5 things in detail that she was doing to make this not a good situation for all of us. Her response was, see me in person or I'm not talking. Nope. I like my text evidence and I'm not listening to her for an hour. I reblocked her after I sent it and told him it's them two now. I'll support him and the kids, but see 0 reasons to talk to her. And that is the end of that story, folks.
Smart.
Yeah, I think you keep it text, keep your proof,
Yeah.
and don't let her lie about things. Get receipts.
Get them receipts, girly.
But that is the end of that story.
My ex married his affair partner, and I refused to have her near my kids.
Don't come near me or my kids ever again.
And this comes directly from the r/OK Storytime
dang.
subreddit. Directly. This is one of our own.
Woo.
So, we were married for 11 years. He has a daughter from a previous marriage, all called Jordan. She was 4 when we got together and is autistic. Her mother was never in her life, so when we got together, I just stepped in. By the way, this comes from Tough Rip 4755, and if you want to submit your own stories, go to the r/OK Storytime subreddit. And I'm Angie.
I'm Sophia.
And I'm Keon.
And we're here to give good advice goofily, but we don't have all the answers. All we can say is what we would do in this situation, but let us know what you would do down below in the comments. So, OP says, I also have a daughter from a previous marriage who was a year old when I got with my ex, and her dad wasn't involved either. I'll call her Sophie. We also had 2 boys together who are now 11 and 9. When we got divorced, they were 2 and 4 years old. Our divorce was the result of an affair, and he ended up marrying his affair partner just 4 days after our divorce was finalized.
And that's what we call overlap.
that is crazy.
Yikes.
At the time, my 4-year-old was all about his dad and wanted nothing to do with me whenever his dad was around. My ex would get home from work, and our son wanted to sit on his lap while they ate. When his dad sat down to watch TV, our son had to be right there with him. They have a bond that I can't explain. The divorce traumatized him. He called for his dad nonstop and cried for months. During that time, his dad wouldn't accept my calls when our son wanted to talk to him and wasn't very involved. Oh my goodness. He went off the rails for a while. Since then, things have changed. His daughter is 20 now and will never live on her own, so we share her. Luckily, after the divorce, I kept her full-time the first year or so. Then, when he started to get his life together, we began joint co-parenting. She is mentally like an 8 or 9-year-old and needs a lot of care. She can't make her own food, wash her own hair, etc. I've been fortunate that he allowed me to stay in her life because I was terrified of losing her when we separated. We divorced in the summer of 2018, so many years have passed. The first couple of years after were non-stop fighting. It was so stressful. I started therapy right away and still go now when I feel like I need it. It took me a long time to work through the heartache, bitterness, and anger towards our dad. Our son, now 11, also started therapy a couple of years back. He went alone, with each of us separately, and sometimes with all of us together. We've made a lot of progress. He carried anger towards his dad's wife for, quote, taking his dad, and was so angry with his dad for leaving us. Time in therapy, it created space, and now they are starting to get close again. During therapy, he said that he wanted his dad and me, along with the kids, to do things together so he could have us both. At the time, I was reserved and nervous, but I wanted to give him what he needed. Fast forward a couple years, and now we go to functions together, and once every couple of months, out to dinner with all the kids. Our communication is very open, and I tell my ex everything about the kids. We live 3 hours apart, so I try to keep him as involved as possible. Here's our problem. Our boys hate their stepmom. Some of it, some of it is the history between us all, but also because she doesn't treat them well. She's insecure and jealous of the relationship that my 11-year-old has with his dad. When the kids visited her and their dad, she tried to separate them and wouldn't let them have alone time. A few years ago, my son colored a picture for her and gave it to her. She threw it in the garbage right in front of him and said that she didn't want it.
Why do you have beef with an 11-year-old?
Dude.
You freak?
That is crazy.
Come on.
Oh my gosh. That same visit, while his dad was at work, she made him stay in his room all day and told him not to come out. Word got back to me and I flipped. Dude, that is like some Cinderella type stuff.
Literally, I'm sorry. Is this Rapunzel? You gonna lock her in her tower?
Oh my gosh. There have been many other incidents, and she makes it very clear that she doesn't like him or want him around. She's decent to the younger boy, but he's a mama's boy and doesn't have as close of a bond with his dad, although his dad is really working on it. When therapy first started, our very first visit included his dad, me, and our son. Our son was in tears the whole time and immediately said that he didn't want to be around her anymore. I mean, yeah.
I wouldn't want to be around her either.
Yeah.
She's locking me in rooms and saying, I hate you.
And she's questioning why I have a close relationship with my dad?
Yeah, she's like, this is ridiculous.
Yeah.
I want to be closer with your dad than you are.
Just like stay in your room though.
Stay in your lane,
but
girl
like
lady.
Love me. Thankfully, his dad listened and no longer takes him to their house 3 hours away, except for big holidays like Christmas. During those visits, they are never left alone with her. If their dad runs errands or leaves, the boys go with him. He works a 7 on, 7 off schedule, so on his days off, he travels here to spend time with them. During those trips, she isn't invited. That's also when we swap Jordan between us. When he visits, I'm usually working, but if I'm off, he often invites me to dinner with them or other activities. It's been peaceful between us, and the boys are happy. The kids all have their own phones, and he texts them daily and calls every couple of days. He and I text often about the kids. His wife hates that and doesn't want us talking at all. Well, I don't care.
It's not really up to you.
Yeah. All heck breaks loose for him if I go anywhere with them when he visits. If he stays too long in my house, she blows up his phone. She tracks him and demands to know why he's there so long, even if it's just 5 minutes to drop off the boys. When it's just him and the boys, she constantly calls and texts, checking in. The boys complain because even when they're at the park, he's glued to his phone. I know he's trying to keep the peace with her, but it only makes the kids dislike her more. My 11-year-old doesn't want to be around her at all and tells his dad exactly how he feels, curse words and all. I don't allow cussing, but in those moments, I let him have his feelings. She's very insecure about me. She was his affair partner, and although he cheated on me with her, that doesn't mean that I'd do that to her. I don't have romantic feelings for him, but I admit it's nice having a co-parent that I can rely on. We deal with constant issues with school and his medications while trying to stabilize him. His emotions often come out as anger when he's overwhelmed or overstimulated. We've really had to work together to support him. I love that I'm not handling it alone. Having his daughter and our youngest both on the spectrum is hard, but it helps knowing that he's in this with me. Because of his wife's behavior, I no longer allow the boys to be around her. In fact, I blocked her on their phones. She has zero contact with them except on holidays when their dad is present. Sometimes I feel guilty because if I were in her shoes, I wouldn't like my husband being close friends with his ex or talking as much as we do. I get it. But from my side, I know it's not that. We're just parenting. This is just so obviously because their relationship started while he was married.
Yeah.
So
It's like you can't be jealous
yeah,
and all like, I don't know, just all
Paranoid.
controlling when you're the one who took OP's husband.
yeah,
Like you are the cheater. Yeah, you're going to be insecure because you got into a relationship with a guy who was married.
right, exactly. It's not a great start to a relationship. So that's your deal. Like, I agree. Like, if I was married and my partner was like talking all the time with their ex, then like, yeah, it'd be like kind of weird. But if they're co-parenting,
They're
then
co-parenting.
no, it's not. Like, that's so normal.
Yeah.
I know her feelings are hurt that she isn't included when he visits, but the damage she's caused is still being repaired. Their dad doesn't share school or medical information with her or any private details about the kids. That's smart. He's put his foot down and she hates that. Personally, I wouldn't want to be in a relationship like theirs. And by the way, I would love to be in a relationship like you and me, and what that relationship would be is you guys watching full episodes with more stories just like this one on iHeartRadio, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, or whatever favorite podcast app you choose. Just search OK Story Time.
And let's have a relationship.
Let's have a lovely parasocial relationship.
Mano y mano.
Yeah. But there is a little bit more into the story, but yeah, it's not even that she's been crappy because of like little comments that she said or just like generally doesn't spend time with them or something like that. She did some crazy,
She's locking them in rooms.
literally evil stepmother.
Yeah, come on.
So
I wouldn't
dude,
even want him to like have the kids around her at all.
like even on holidays.
No, I'd be like, hey, custody agreement.
Mm-hmm.
This guy's wife
Yeah.
is doing some crazy stuff.
Yeah, that's wild. And I mean, hopefully they can talk to the dad about like being on his phone all the time because
Mhm.
it seems like, you know, they're working on their relationship. The dad is working on his relationship with the kids. But yeah, being on your phone all the time when you're supposed to be spending quality time.
Come on.
Come on.
Come on.
I'd be fine including her in family functions, but we've tried that. Her rude comments and constant drama ruined it. I can stay peaceful in front of the kids, but she cannot. She's even told me off in front of them. I should add that my ex was 43 when he met her, and there's nearly a 20-year age gap. A lot of it is immaturity on her part, and it's clear that she has a lot of growing up to do. I do feel sorry for her because I know it must hurt, but I also have to protect my children and help them heal. Am I the a-hole for cutting off contact between her and the kids and for talking to their dad as much as I do? Am I out of line? Any advice would be wonderful, and if anyone knows a better way to deal with this, I am open to suggestions. And that's the end of that story.
And there you go, folks.
Yeah, I feel like, no, I mean, you're talking about parenting stuff.
Yeah.
That's important to talk about.
Agreed.
So there's nothing wrong with
she
that.
needs to change her attitude, or
Yeah.
he needs to change who he's in a relationship with. I want my ex off my mortgage now.
Yeah.
Trigger warning for mentions of self-harm. I am a 25 female living in UK, and my ex is a 30 male. We have been together for 5 years up until last week when he suddenly told me he didn't love me anymore, didn't want to be with me, and could never marry someone like me.
Wow.
Hey, thanks,
Oh,
Chief. I
is he going
appreciate
through
the
a
update.
crisis? I was shocked confused, heartbroken, upset, and angry. All emotions I didn't know I could feel at once.
At least he's honest.
A little too honest. A little too honest.
Maybe a little too much honesty.
Considering that the same day, hours before, he was cuddling me in bed and giving me kisses. I feel like there's gotta have been something that happened. Either he's been, like, you know, holding this in for a while, or something else happened that made him spook. By the way, this comes from Sammy Norbag, and if you want to submit your own stories, go to the r/OKStorytime subreddit, and we'll try to give our best advice, but we haven't experienced most of these situations ourselves. So if you have, let us know what you would do in the comments. And OP says, we bought a house together 4 years ago. You bought a house 1 year into the relationship?
That seems a little quick.
Also, how did you have the money for that? OP was 21 at the time.
Wouldn't you
and
like
he was
to know
24?
whether
I
girl?
I would bet
would.
it has something to do with Bitcoin.
Or familial connections.
Or they build houses.
And I was all too happy that we finally had our home. We were going to get animals, do the house up, decorate, all of which would cost money. He reinforced this by telling me it would cost money and convinced me to get a credit card, something I never had before, but stupidly went along with because he had one and convinced me it would be necessary.
Sorry.
I mean, you should have a credit card.
No, I'm laughing at one of our commenters, Kim.
No, I know, but I'm talking about.
Why did
I've got shorts on, guys. But
you
hold on.
say that?
I'm talking
Why
about.
did you
the
say
story.
that name?
Hush, Dakota, hush.
Sorry.
Why? I feel like 21 is you're old enough to have had a credit card. I think it's, you know, obviously he's up to no good, but I don't think it is necessary. You should have a credit card.
You should have an understanding of how credit works.
Yeah, you should be building your credit. I don't understand how you're buying a house without a credit card or credit.
Probably lots of money.
Well, I'm just wondering where they're getting all this money, because it doesn't. If he's saying we need to get a credit card to buy all of this stuff, then they clearly don't have the money to buy a house outright. How does their credit work? He's only 20. He was 20.
Well, yeah, I don't
4
think
at
you
the
need
time.
credit to be a blockchain billionaire.
You need credit to buy a home.
Not if you just can prove. Honestly, though,
If
if you can prove an absurd amount of liquid assets.
Absolutely. I doubt a 21-year-old and a 24-year-old.
Yes, that is the age bracket of the crypto billionaire.
What I didn't know was this was his plan. He put more of a deposit on the house, and we agreed that as he earned more, he would pay more towards the bills, so I didn't feel any pressure. This was a false promise, as it quickly turned to all the bills being split 50-50. At the time, my monthly income was about £1,100, and I was spending about £800 to pay my share of the bills, barely leaving enough money for my own personal bills, and definitely not enough for myself. Okay, so he's saying we're to split it 50-50. OP's making £1,100, spending $800 on all of the house bills.
OP is spending more than
How are you
2/3 of their paycheck on rent.
How are you affording this house? I was naive and in love and thought he loved me too. I had about £3,000 of cash in savings from birthdays, Christmases, etc., and stupidly told him about it. He made dang sure that whenever we went out to buy things for the house, to say, make sure you bring your cash, and then at the checkout would say, you use your cash and I'll pay you back half when I get paid. I never saw his half of the payments and quickly ran out of my savings on the promise that he would give me his half. Upon moving in, my parents, as a gift, bought us a king-size bed, sofa set, and paid to do up our kitchen and bathroom after there was a
Come
leak.
on, the parents have to be rich.
I mean, they must be. That does sound it, but like, yeah, Lou says 1,100 is so little. Maybe I'm just thinking like LA housing, but like, I just can't imagine even in the UK that there is a house that you like. How did you buy a house outright?
I'm gonna look up the average
stuff.
I'm gonna look up the average amount of a house in the UK compared to LA. How about that?
Yeah. With me panicking as I couldn't afford to fix the bathroom, my parents went into their pocket to help their daughter. And where was he? Certainly not reaching into his savings anytime soon. In total, my parents put about $15,000 into our house as a gift and out of necessity. Why did you buy this house? Why did you buy this house?
To have a house?
I don't understand.
It is weird that it really doesn't feel like y'all were a team
on any level really. Just on a word level, y'all were like on the same team, but it had never tested. Y'all didn't field test.
OP was 20 and he was 25 when they first started dating, and then
Okay, so Not a Cacti says in some parts of the UK you can buy a house for under 100K.
but there's no way that she has 100K. She said she had 3,000 pounds of money.
That's 3%, baby.
Ronan K says with the legal money, rich girlfriend. But like, it doesn't even seem like they have. I'm just confused because like they have never, unless OP doesn't know about any of that, and he's fronting all of this like substance money. We know that the parents put in 15K, so maybe they put in more money for the house. But like, I'm just confused why they would front that money to their like. If I went to my parents at 20 and said, I'm moving in with this guy, this 25-year-old, and we're gonna buy a house, but we also don't have the money, so can you front this money? They'd say, no, we're not helping you buy a house that you can't afford. So I'm just confused why they did this, or why your parents are on board for this and helping you front that money. It quickly became apparent that I was not a girlfriend, but more of a personal housekeeper. I did the cleaning, cooking, etc. while he lay on the sofa watching TV or playing video games with his friends. After promising a night of watching a movie together, he would suddenly say that his friend texted him to hang out, so that's what he'd do. He would ask me to drive him there and to pick him up later on as he was going to be drinking. So I was not only a housekeeper, but also a taxi service. I started to get sick of this lifestyle as it no longer felt like a relationship. He hounded me for money one day and made me feel guilty that I didn't have it. I went to see my mom and ended up getting really upset. She told me to address it sooner rather than later. I approached him to talk about things and said that if we couldn't sort out our situation, then we would have to sell the house and part ways. He started hyperventilating and asking me not to leave, saying he was so scared if I left that he'd have nothing else. So I stayed. Going to fast forward to 2023, he was made redundant from his job and a month later got a new job. And he would come home from work beaming and telling me how the manager said that him and this girl he worked with made such a great team and really connected.
No.
So now he's going to cheat on you after you've been taking care of this entire house and also freaking paid to, like your parents paid to fix up this house?
Honestly, the moment I hear but if you leave me, I'll have nothing.
Good.
I'd say, but it's only up from there, buddy.
Then you got nothing to lose.
Time to cowboy up, bootstrap city.
Wow.
Is your name Bill Turner? I mean, Will Turner? Or no, it's Bill Turner. I need to sleep.
Yeah, I really think, OP, next time, don't buy a house with a person you've known for a year and that you can't afford.
I'm giving not the benefit of a doubt for OP, but again, OP's young.
That's the thing. OP's very young.
Very young. So
Bought
I get
a house
it.
very young.
Get it.
Got into a relationship pretty quick.
If somebody has
Or, like, you moved
nothing
in.
without you, then they need to become something.
Yeah, without
on
you.
their own.
I'm not proud, but I am the jealous type. If I have a gut feeling that something isn't right, my gut is always spot on. Quickly, the friendship between him and his colleague grew. Every night after coming home from work, I was cast aside and he went on to Discord to play games with her.
You got sitting down in a depth of the bootstrap Bill Turner.
The day I drew a line was when he said that he had organized a day out for the pair of them, doing his favorite hobbies, but I was not invited, as it would just be the two of them.
This is...
Ay, ay, ay.
And we were not cool with this, right?
Ay, ay, ay.
Please tell me we were not cool with that.
I said I wasn't comfortable, and he guilted me, saying that he told me where they were going, so he wasn't trying to be sneaky. And also said I should be more understanding as her mother has cancer, and he lost a brother to cancer years ago. What is there to understand there?
Just y'all can join a support group. What are you talking about? What y'all have shared experience? No way.
Tons of people have shared experience. But when I found out a couple of months prior that my dad had cancer and I was crying on the sofa, he came in and said, "Why are you being so hysterical? So now you can't bond with OP, but you can bond with other girl?"
Is this the song Too Perfect?
I don't know that song.
It's the one that, maybe I'm too perfect.
Oh,
and I knew that I'm not.
Yeah. Even when my mother tried to commit to self-harm in 2021 and I went on antidepressants, he would constantly say, "It'll be okay. Try to forget about it." Probably his take on monetary issues too.
Forget about it.
We can't afford this house. Forget about it. Let's just put it on the credit card.
Forget about it.
No words of comfort and no words of sympathy. If I tried to talk about my problems, he would suddenly switch the conversation to something about him. He dominated conversations between me and my best friend, sometimes taking over the whole thing as if I wasn't there. He suddenly started losing weight quickly. He bought designer clothes at around 300 pounds a shop, a 140-pound pair of trainers, and completely changed his hairstyle. I wonder who he's doing that for. Also, why are we spending hundreds of pounds on clothes when you can't afford to freaking pay to fix up the house that you bought?
Give me back my money. Remember that money I paid? Give me
Yeah,
back
that you
half
said
the
that you
money
would
that
pay
you
back?
pay me back. Pay me back my half, chief.
I knew deep down something was wrong, and he started staying later at the office to catch up with the team. Sure, you are catching up with the team.
Yeah, you're probably catching some kind of illness.
I stupidly took him at face value until I realized he had made a hidden channel on Discord for him and his colleague to go into, knowing full well that I couldn't join it or see it. Going forward to the events of last week, we had a good day, went out, cuddled, kissed, the stuff we'd done before he got the new job. And then suddenly that night, he said that he doesn't love me anymore, but then wouldn't go to bed unless I was going to join him in the bed.
He needs his teddy bear.
This is the Flip Flop song. This is Messy by Lola Young.
This is
Because it's like,
ridiculous.
because I'm so perfect, and then you tell me that you freaking hate me, and then you don't love me anymore, but then you still want me to sleep in the bed. Those aren't the lyrics of the song, but it's
But they could be.
they fit right in.
Still very confused by the whole situation. My sister came by the house the next day for moral support, as did his brother. I went for a walk to clear my head and think about what I wanted to say, but little did I know that while I was gone, he was fabricating stories to my sister and brother, saying I was an aggressive drinker and self-harming all the time. If anyone here takes sertraline, you know you're not supposed to drink on it, and I certainly did not enjoy the effects the first time I ignored the advice. After this, I maybe would have had 1 or 2 ciders with the odd meal on occasions, but that was all. And I will admit that I self-harmed occasionally. I hadn't for 10 years until he started behaving oddly around me. Even then, my emotions would overwhelm me, and I would do it to ground myself again, never extensively. Okay, well,
Definitely don't
Don't
be
do
in
that.
this relationship.
don't do that, OP.
It's
Like,
pushing
one,
you to that. Do
you got to
not
leave this
be here.
relationship, and 2, like, definitely go to therapy, because I feel like you're trying to justify it. You know, you're still not in a good place, and you need help. When I came back from my walk, we sat down to discuss things, and he informed me that he was moving to his sister's for a while. So after packing some bags, he left. I felt like a weight lifted slightly until the next day. My mother packed the rest of his things to prevent him being in the house and around me for prolonged periods. But whenever mother and his friend were out of earshot, he started threatening me with solicitors and then being nice as pie when they came back. Recently, I found out that he has been telling lies for weeks about me and still is. He tried to turn my best friend against me by saying that he's been unhappy in the relationship for a while and has tried to break up with me multiple times but can't, as I tell him that I'd unalive myself if he left, and then said that I would proceed to self-harm in front of him. My best friend started to pity him and turn against me as he was very convincing. He's told several people that I'm an aggressive drinker, told his family and closest friends that I forced him out of the house because he felt trapped by my anxieties and threatening to unalive myself if he left. He's also said that my anger issues made him scared to come home from work. The thing is, he worked from home mainly and was never scared of me, considering he towers over me and loved to practice mixed martial arts on me.
What?
I think hopefully you mean that in like a not bad way. Like, oh, like you guys would wrestle or something.
They're just both yoked MMA fighters.
He's been threatening me with solicitor action if I don't agree to sell the house. I don't want to sell the house as I'd have nowhere else to go. Unfortunately, I can't even move back in with my parents. He said I'd need to buy him out then, and he wants his deposit back, which is £13,000. Originally, I put down a deposit of $10,000, but looking around the house and packing up his moving van load of stuff, personal items I have very little of, most of my money was used for the house and brings the total amount that I put into the house to about £30,000,
Oh.
including my parents' contribution. He said that the money myself and my parents put in doesn't matter, as it was for him too. He's been making my life a living heck since, with acting up in front of people like a torn man, and then approaching and threatening me with legal action, not caring that I would be homeless with numerous animals. The reason I write this is because I know I'll not be able to move on and recover unless I get his name off the mortgage so he no longer is tied to me. I was being too generous with what he could take from the house until I found out that he's been painting me in the wrong to everyone else. By the way, it's never wrong to listen to full episodes of stories just like this. Just go to Spotify, Apple Podcasts, or iHeartRadio and search up OK Storytime. But there is a little bit left to this story. Any final thoughts?
Lawyer.
Yeah, lawyer.
Lawyer, 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 lawyer.
Yes, lawyer, but also be very careful about your next relationship. Because it seems like, you were 20, you were young, got into this relationship, moved a little bit too quick. So just for your next one, don't rush into buying a home with someone that you've only been into a relationship with for a year. Don't let people convince you of how to spend your money if you don't think that's wise. Yeah.
Did Opie say, I don't remember or recall, did Opie say she lived with him prior to this, or they just moved, like they bought the house?
They bought the house a year into the relationship.
But did she say like, oh, we lived together like a couple months?
I don't think so.
Because that's, I was
yeah,
gonna
that's
say,
like they hadn't even lived together first.
because that's a huge thing, like to get there's one staying with your partner, but like living with your partner, that's when you see their true colors, and which we've got.
It's like level. It's being with a partner.
Yeah.
For a year, living with a partner, buying a house with a partner,
and getting a pet.
And getting a pet. Like these are all like huge steps, and it seems like they rushed
jumped,
into all of
They
those.
jumped to the very last step, or like one of the last steps.
And they have pets.
Yeah. Oh man.
But there is a little bit left to this story.
Record everything.
As Duchess Cassandra says, has anyone experienced similar? Does anyone know of a legal way to get him off the mortgage without paying him the full $13K? As I don't think he is entitled to the full amount and definitely does not deserve it either, as he got me to use my credit cards, running myself into debts while he enjoyed letting me know how much in savings he had and was going to look at getting himself a new car. I am out of debt now and starting to gain some savings back, but I just need him out of my life and off the mortgage without losing a full $13K if possible. Any help and advice is greatly appreciated. And there is no more to that story.
That is the end of that story.
Dang. Good luck, OP. Yeah, honestly, you might have to sue. You might have to get a lawyer for this.
No, definitely sue.
Yeah.
100% lawyer, 100% record,
Yeah.
100% leave,
Yes.
100% new life. This is the type of
100%
situation
all
that
the
would
time.
make me just be like, I'm going to disappear
I need to start over.
to like Luxembourg.
My father cheated with 12 different women and expected my mother to pay for it.
Well, she definitely paid for it emotionally.
And this comes directly from the OK subreddit.
No.
My 30 female dad, 58 male, has cheated on my mom, 56 female, multiple times throughout their marriage. He's now fathered almost 12 children. I'm number 7. Only 2 of us are my moms. And he just got my little sister's mom pregnant again. By the way, this comes from Series Automatic 5170. And if you want to submit your own stories, go to the r/OK Storytime subreddit. And we'll try to give our best advice, but we haven't experienced most of these situations ourselves. So if you have, let us know what you would do in the comments. And OP says, growing up, my mom was basically a single parent. She worked 12-hour shifts, 7 days a week to provide for us while my dad was out cheating. I always said she was both the queen and the king in our home because she carried the weight of everything. My dad didn't help raise us or support the household in any meaningful way. Because of this, my childhood was far from normal. I worked 4 jobs as a teenager to help keep the family afloat. My older brother ended up on the streets doing things that eventually landed him incarcerated. We sacrificed and struggled because my dad chose himself over his family. There was a brief period where my dad gave his life to Christ and we thought things had changed. But when my mom developed medical issues, he backslid. He started disappearing, stopped helping, and went back to his old ways. My mom funded the house in our home country, and my dad already owes her over $10,000. Despite this, he recently asked my mom for money to come home. She sent him money, but he blew it on dates and dinners with the woman he cheated with. When I learned that my dad got someone younger than me pregnant, I got really angry. I told him it made me uncomfortable. His response? I had needs. I was hungry. What do you expect me to do?
I was hungry.
Feed me, Seymour.
Gross.
I was hungry. You don't understand.
Yeah, at that point, I'd be like cutting dad off. That shattered any last ounce of respect I had. Not only did he betray my mom, but his actions re-traumatized me in ways he'll never understand. But I'd never understand if you didn't listen to full episodes with stories just like this. Just go to Spotify, Apple Podcasts, or iHeartRadio and search up OK Storytime.
Is this Frank Gallagher? That's crazy.
Oh, OK Billy Time.
Okay, Billy time. That's crazy.
This is actually shameless. Wow.
I
yeah.
just think sometimes you got to cut your losses with people.
Yeah. I think if your dad is like this, takes no accountability, continues to behave in this manner, I don't think, like, if you just can't respect him, I don't know if there's a relationship to be had with him right now. It's really tough, though.
Again, this is one of our own.
Yeah. You know, I understand the feeling of being sad about losing that relationship and stuff, but I think, like, putting up boundaries for your own sake is important.
Very true.
The disrespect.
Yeah. I mean, just to say that to you, the whole thing of, like, I'm hungry. What was I supposed to do? That's so disgusting.
Man's got to eat.
When he asked for more money, I snapped. I told him, you can ask the women you cheated with for money to get back home, not my mom.
Love that.
I also said divorce papers would be waiting. That's when things exploded. For the first time ever, he cursed me out. He said he's not the one to be messed with. And I shot back, no, I'm not the one.
Oh.
You raised me to not be the one to mess with. He claims he's the king and my mom needs to know her place.
I'm not the one.
I reminded him that he was never the king. My mom was the one who sacrificed, carried, and provided. He only drained her. I also told him he taught me exactly what kind of man I will never marry. So am I wrong for telling my dad enough is enough? That if he can find his way into another woman's bed, he can find his way home without leeching off my mom. And you're very much not the wrong.
You told him what fur.
He needed to hear that.
You told him what fur.
He seems not like he's not the best guy.
He's a scumbag, dude.
And you don't have
He's
that
acting
relationship
like a
with him.
scumbag. He's behaving like a scumbag. He's a scumbag.
But that is the end of that story, folks.
My boyfriend dumped me for his sister's pregnant best friend.
Did he make her pregnant?
My ex-friend set me up with a guy. Let's call him Chris. She considered him to be like a brother back in 2020. I, 22 at the time, didn't really date. Guys didn't really seem attracted to me. I'm a bigger woman with HEDS, PCOS, POTS, among other issues.
What does that mean?
Well, polycystic ovarian syndrome. I know one of the symptoms is like if you stand up, you can fall. You get the blackout thing really easily.
Oh, nice.
It's like iron deficiencies often accompany.
Okay. The guys who seemed interested only seemed to be interested in getting me in the bedroom, so I rarely got to the relationship basis. By the way, this comes from a Witchy Woman 1998, and if you want to submit your own stories, go to the r/OK Storytime subreddit, where this story came from.
What?
This is one of our own. My name's Riley.
I'm Sophia.
I'm Keon.
And we're here to give good advice goofily, but we don't have all the answers. We only know what we do know, so let us know what you would do in the comments below. So, OP says, Chris, 23 at the time, had a child from a previous marriage. My ex-friend thought he was looking for someone to settle down with after the stuff he went through with his ex. She was violent. I was iffy due to the last few guys I tried dating with kids who led me on just to ghost me after a few weeks. But I finally gave and had her tell him to message me. We talked and hung out for a few weeks to a month. He said he wasn't sure if he wanted a relationship, but was hoping he would be soon. I told him there was no rush because I'd rather him be sure than to lead me on. Yeah, that's smart. About a week after he told me that, he asked me to be his girlfriend.
Okay, so he took a week. He was like, I'm pretty sure.
He was smitten by the idea. I asked him if he was sure since it wasn't long after. He said he wasn't sure he'd be ready for a relationship. He told me he was 110% sure he was ready. So I said yes.
See, that would make me less sure. I'd be like, oh, that's not even possible. You can't be 110% sure. It's ridiculous.
Maybe they're bad at math that they don't know what 110% means.
Well, maybe he's bad at relationships too.
Hot take. If you're bad at math, you're bad at relationships. By Sophia.
Dang it, I'm bad at No, I'm bad at math. That's not true. I'm good at math. Just not mental math. So if I keep the relationship in my head, it's bad.
Yes. About a week into us dating, he decided he wanted me to meet his family, which I figured was going to happen quickly since they all lived across the street from my friend and I was going over there quite often. All of his family seemed to love me except for his sister Lola.
Uh-oh.
That weekend, I met his family. His sister showed up with her baby daddy and her pregnant best friend. This was Chris's first time meeting Lola's best friend, Grace.
Love at first sight. Hopefully not.
Hopefully not. As I was talking to Lola before they left, I noticed for some reason when Grace said bye, she hugged into Chris for an awkwardly long time. I mean, Chris sort of looked uncomfortable with how long it was. So I wasn't concerned, especially since Chris hadn't given me any reason to not trust him. A couple of days later, my ex-friend told me Grace thought I hated her because of the hug. So I went and found her social media, messaged her to let her know I didn't hate her, as I had no reason not to trust Chris. For some reason, Chris at this point had gone radio silent on me.
What? This is how long into the girlfriendness is this?
I want to say
Like a couple weeks?
yeah.
Like a week?
Fresh.
It's super fresh.
He went from texting and video chatting every often to leaving me on read or giving me 1 to 2 word responses. Other than him telling me he was going through something mentally and thought he needed some space, I thought it was a bit weird, but said I understood and left him to be for about a week. After a week, he just continued to leave me on read.
Yeah. These are the signs. These are the breakup signs.
His family would ask me if we were still together. I would just say, at this point, I don't know. Go ask him yourself. He doesn't know how to respond to me. About a month after he asked me to be his girlfriend, 2 months since we started talking, he came over to my ex-friend's house in a t-shirt I gifted him with his kid I haven't met before this.
You hadn't met his kid before y'all started dating? I take that back because I feel like oftentimes when you have kids, you don't want to introduce them until you're serious.
Yeah.
So that does make sense.
Mind you, he was still leaving me on read other than a couple of one-word responses. 3 to 4 days after I got a message from Grace asking if Chris and I were still together, I told her to ask him because he wasn't responding to me. She responded with, "You should ask him again." So of course, being that it was a weird message to see from another female, I asked Chris. Lo and behold, he did not respond. A couple of days later, I was sick of it and messaged Chris saying, "We need to talk because are we even together?" He responded with, "I'm sorry, but I forced myself to be in a relationship with you when I wasn't ready for one. Again, I'm so sorry." I just responded to him with a thumbs up emoji.
That's ridiculous. What do you mean you forced yourself to be in a relationship that you weren't ready for?
Remember, 110%.
Yeah. I knew that was a lie because 110% is
He
impossible.
probably was just 10% to be ready.
Ridiculous. You freaking little liar.
Or he was 11% ready and just added a 0 on accident.
Yeah, sorry, I didn't mean to.
It was
was
a
a
point.
typo.
Sorry, it was a 0.0.
It was 11.0%. And he was like, I was really confused why you were so excited about the 11%. That's ridiculous. Stop doing that, people. Don't do that.
Don't do
If
that,
you're not ready
guys.
to be in a relationship,
Yep.
don't be in one.
And just say you're giving it your 100%, not 110%. 2 days later, he blocked me on everything.
Ah,
Is this man's
110%.
problem?
About 2 days after that, I saw Grace's Facebook that she and Chris were in a relationship.
Well, it won't last long because he forced himself to be in a relationship with you. And if a man says, "Oh, I'm sorry, I forced myself to be in a relationship with you," and then gets into another relationship right after that, he is not handling anything healthily. He does not know how to be alone.
My first thought was they knew each other longer than they mentioned, and she was pregnant with Chris's baby.
That would be my first thought.
But my ex-friend and Chris's other sister confirmed that she was pregnant with another man's baby who wanted nothing to do with Grace or the baby. My ex-friend threw a fit to both of them because she knew I had started to fall for Chris pretty hard when he had me meet his family. I tend to fall for someone pretty hard and sometimes a bit fast. The fit my ex threw had Chris's sister, Lola, message me mad that I was upset Chris was already with another woman, not even a week after he told me he wasn't actually ready for a relationship. A couple of months went by, and I was finally mostly over him, only to find out they were engaged.
Wow, they're really rushing.
Yikes. I mean, just comfort yourself with the fact that that relationship is going to be so messy.
You don't want any part of that.
Yeah.
That ship is on fire from the
Yeah.
beginning.
Like, it super sucks that, you know, he led you on and
Yep.
treated you like this, but just know that he was not a man that you want to be in a relationship with.
Yeah.
And that you will find someone better.
It only bugged me a tiny bit. It had been months, but there was still a sting knowing they were working out the way I was hoping. About 8 to 10 months after that, my ex-best friend told me to go look at Grace's page because it was interesting. Her and Chris got married the day after what had been his and mine 1-year anniversary. My ex-friend told me she had overheard Grace wanting to do it on the day, but there were no time slots at the courthouse to do it.
That's insane and feels like on purpose.
That's weird.
Why the day?
Ugh.
That can't be coincidental.
The only good thing that came out of this relationship and the friendship with my ex-friend is I got a wonderful dog who absolutely loves Dakota and Riley reading
Heck yeah.
from my ex's younger sister, not Lola, who is best friends with my ex-friend. Dude, is this Jamie? Jamie, are you here? Someone DM Jamie that we're reading her story.
Is it?
Well,
Well, we
are
don't know.
we? We don't know.
We have a
It
lot
is.
of pets that love our voices.
For sure.
Sorry, I thought so.
We just got excited.
Dang, that's crazy. I also learned not to trust most guys named Chris.
No, you can't do that.
Come on.
There's nice Chris's.
No.
I know, a very lovely
I
Chris.
love Chris Pratt.
I was like,
I love Chris. Chris Pine's pretty cool.
Chris Pine,
That's nice.
Chris
Evans.
Chris Evans, dude.
Chris Hemsworth.
Your friend Chris.
That's what I said. I said I know. a lovely
Christoph
Chris.
Waltz.
Christian in
Christian?
college was named Chris
There you go.
because if Chris crossed applesauce, what would he do to you?
Sure. And I've always said that.
Yep. Comment number 1. Chris showed you who he is by leading you on, ignoring your messages, and then turning around to be with someone almost immediately. That is not a reflection of your worth. It's a reflection of his immaturity and dishonesty. You gave him the benefit of the doubt and patience when he asked for space, and he chose to use that time to move on behind your back instead of being upfront with you. The best thing you can do now is cut ties with Chris and anyone in his circle who stirs up drama or tries to make you feel guilty for having emotions. Protect your peace and distance yourself from people who do not respect your feelings. It might still sting, especially knowing how quickly he moved on, but healing will come from focusing on yourself and refusing to let him or his family take up any more of your energy. Spend time with people who uplift you and invest in things that remind you of your value. This is also a chance to practice setting stronger boundaries for future relationships. If someone starts pulling away, going quiet, or acting inconsistent, it's okay to step back and protect yourself instead of waiting around for clarity. You deserve a partner who is clear about what they want and who values your trust from the very beginning. We have an update.
Yes, I agreed to all of that. Was this OP's like first relationship?
No, one of her first.
Okay. I think it's like I think OP specified that like she hadn't been in very like serious like long lasting relationships.
Mm-hmm.
So I feel like when you have that mindset or you know or don't have that experience
And you're yearning for one.
and you're yearning for one, you kind
Yeah.
of not attuned to red flags yet, but you were getting the hang of it.
It's also experience.
Yeah, it's
I
experience.
think everyone, when we all had our first relationships, we were like, "This is perfect. This is I can see my future with this person." And then you look back on it, you're like, "Oh, boy, that was
yeah,
brutal."
you get the hang of it. And next time, if a guy says 1 week ago, "I'm not ready for a relationship," and then says the next week, "I'm 110% ready for a relationship," you're gonna be like, "That doesn't sound right."
It's a learning experience. I mean, some people can get it right off the bat, which is great. For others, it takes
Takes a minute.
multiple partners.
And we got an update. My boredom got the best of me. And I went to see if my ex's wife, the woman he left me for, had still blocked me on Facebook. Mainly because I saw she viewed my TikTok profile and liked a few of my videos from 5 years ago right after he broke up with me. She had blocked me on Facebook when I laugh reacted to her and Chris making things official on Facebook. Well, she unblocked me. I immediately noticed her profile picture wasn't of her and my ex or her and the kids like normal. But I quickly realized who was in the picture with her. It was my ex's brother.
Wait, whose picture is this?
Her ex's wife. So the profile picture isn't with her ex and the wife. It's with her ex's wife
And his brother?
ex's brother.
Ooh.
Naturally, I got more curious. So I looked up my ex's second Facebook that I wasn't blocked on to see what was on his page. His profile picture was with the same brother's baby mama. They just flip-flopped.
That's insane.
But what is insane is how many stories we have for you on your favorite podcast platform. Just search up OK Storytime on Apple, iHeartRadio, or Spotify. And listen to more crazy, ridiculous stories just like this one. Sophia Keon,
What?
what do we think of this switcheroo here?
I mean, clearly they're messy.
Yeah.
Clearly they're messy, and you got out of there, OP. So just be thankful for that.
I told you that ship was on fire.
Yikes.
Gosh, honeybee, keeping it in the family.
I guess so. They just did a little wife swap.
This is so messy, wrestling mama. Yeah, I'm shocked too.
That's
Yeah,
crazy.
Honestly, OP, good you dodged this bullet.
To finish it off, Chris, my ex, has one biological kid with the woman he married after breaking up with me, and his brother has one biological kid with the woman my ex is now with. So my ex and his brother have become uncle daddies, apparently.
Okay.
Hey, yo.
All right, then.
We're just going to have a lot of these today, huh?
Unc daddy. It made me even more glad I wasn't with Chris anymore. And totally made me laugh because what kind of Jerry Springer BS is going on with that family? Ugh.
I don't know, man. That's crazy. But you're out of there, and I hope you find someone better.
Yeah, and
I think we have one, like, mini story.
My ex-best friend ghosted me when I needed her the most.
Come back.
Please. The other night, I got an Instagram message and was confused, thinking it might have been a mistake. It turned out to be from my ex-best friend from high school.
Whoa.
Someone I hadn't seen or spoken to in years. She was hoping to meet up and catch up. And by the way, this comes from user CNeedleworker161. And we're here to give good advice, goofily, but we don't have all the answers. We only know what we would do in a given situation. So if you would do something different, let us know in the comments. OP says, Hannah and I went to kindergarten together and were friends on and off throughout our school years. Our moms were friends, which made it easier. I thought she was my person, at least until the summer before senior year, when my mom got sick. She got very sick and passed away quickly. Entering senior year, I was in a very dark place. Hannah was my rock, along with my other friends at the time. I was starting to feel better about myself, and when prom rolled around, I asked if we could go as friends. It felt right, and things were really starting to feel okay again. Until she ditched me at prom.
No.
One way to not get ditched at prom is to never go.
Did you not go?
Not once.
Oh.
Went to the after parties, though.
I only had one prom.
Well, there's two.
You mean Morp?
No, we had prom.
You guys didn't have Morp?
We had Morp, but we also we didn't have Morp actually. It got canceled.
Oh.
But we did have
who wrote that
prom.
for you guys?
What is Morp?
Don't worry
Prom
about
backwards.
It's prom
Anywho,
I guess she and a couple of our other friends had agreed to a slumber party without me. I felt so embarrassed. No goodbye, no sorry. It was even worse when I had to call my older sister to give me a ride home.
Aw.
I can still see her disappointment.
Aw.
Well, that's really more on your older sister for not just like being able to comfort you in a moment of
Yeah.
high school embarrassment. Even worse, the principal walked me to the car because I had asked him to check if my friends had left prom. When I asked Hannah for an explanation at school, all she could say was she was tired. Quote, "You've become toxic with your sadness. Every day you cry and whine about missing her.
Dang.
I loved your mom too, but you make it so hard to be around you."
Whoa.
And that's someone exposing themselves as not your real friend, dude.
Whoa.
Whoa.
That's like, even if you're like, wow, this person, it's like very hard to comfort them. Their grief is just like so much for me and I don't know how to handle it. Why would you ever say that?
Yeah, that's mostly an inside thought. And
That's
look,
oh, it's really tough.
there is something to like, it is a strain to be like in a constant state of grieving with someone else.
It is.
But that's not how you express that.
No.
Because they're also teenagers, you know?
Yeah.
They're like 17 in this, so it's like...
I just can't imagine like ever as a 17-year-old
Yeah.
seeing a friend grieving and having a tough time with it. But
Yeah.
saying that.
At 17, you know that
Yeah,
you're
you're
being
like,
emotionally devastating by saying that.
Yeah.
I honestly could not breathe after hearing that. How does a kid respond? I ended high school with no friends, and it wasn't made easier by the fact that she never told her mom. On graduation day, Hannah's mom gave me flowers and thanked me for being her daughter's friend.
Oof.
I told her the truth about prom and walked away before I began to cry. I left all those things behind me, and now she has the audacity almost 10 years later to try to patch things up. I can't. At least, I don't think I can. We spent so much of my childhood together that I just don't know. She looks like she's done well for herself, so maybe she's changed, but I was really hurt, and I don't think I've recovered from it. Any advice, please? And there are some relevant comments here.
I don't think you owe her anything. I think there is a chance that she does genuinely want to apologize and want to, make up for what she said and what she did in your senior year. Because, yeah, she shouldn't have said that. She should have known better at 17, but she was 17 and maybe has since learned.
You learn a lot in the 10 years between 17 and 27.
Yeah.
One thing about apologies is, like, even if someone wants to give you one and you can receive it.
And it doesn't have to mean anything.
You don't have to accept it.
No.
You can say, well, I'm glad that you said that. I appreciate it. You don't have to then rekindle a friendship with this person.
Even if you decide to go meet her, that doesn't mean you have to be friends with her. It can be like a one and done meeting.
And you can let her know. You can be like, what you did was actually so devastating. I really don't want to, have you back in my life. But I'm glad you now realize how devastating it was.
And it's whatever if you don't want to do that, if you want to do that, if you eventually want to be friends, it's like whatever you're comfortable with.
And there are some comments here. Eling Elcho, not the a-hole, she abandoned you when you needed her most and said cruel stuff that stuck with you for years. You don't owe her closure or a reunion. If reconnecting hurts more than it helps, you have every right to keep that door closed. OP responds, I think the only reason I would ever want to talk to her again is to see if her mom is okay. Hannah's mom had a stroke roughly a year ago and hasn't gotten much better, at least that's what I've heard. Professional Train 178 says, not the a-hole. Doesn't sound like the message was an apology. Unless the message was a complete apology showing self-reflection and with no obligation on you to give her closure, don't open the door to your heart. She will hurt you again. OP says, it was just a short hello, a gift from friends of Joey saying, how you doing? And asking if I'd be up for lunch to talk.
Man, we haven't talked in 10 years, and that's how we're going to break the ice?
I haven't talked in 10 years. The last thing she said was, your grief is too much. Get over your mom's passing. And then the first thing she says after all of that,
Gets you at the,
how you doing?
how you doing?
I was doing fine until you sent me that. Yeah,
Ooh.
that doesn't sound very...
Promising.
Yeah.
Yikes.
They had to rely on little animated short of Joey saying that.
Little gift.
What happened to the friend group from high school? As far as I know, our original friend group broke up after high school because they all felt conflicted regarding everything that happened our senior year. I had some friends that agreed that my grief was valid. However, the majority of them agreed with her.
Yikes.
And there's an update.
I just can't imagine that conversation. I don't know, guys. I feel like OP is valid in being upset that her mom passed. And then everyone's like, nah.
Yeah, but it's like, she's
such a downer.
Totally, like, she was so, like, when we were at Brad Stevens' party, like, she was just crying by herself in the corner while everyone else is drinking soda pop.
Get a room.
Yeah, come on, gross. Ugh.
Yeah.
Update. 6 days later, I made a post about a week ago regarding an old best friend, Hannah, trying to make contact with me. We were close growing up, but after losing my mom at 17, we had issues. I was apparently too much to deal with because my grief was quote-unquote toxic, and I would cry too much for anything. The post was removed, but I was hoping to give an update since people wanted feedback on how to approach the situation. Hannah messaged me Friday, again, asking if we could meet at the local mall food court on Saturday since we used to hang out there all the time. I thought I had to go to the mall on the weekend anyway to pick up an order, so I might as well hear her out. Of all the hypothetical scenarios my anxiety and stress had imagined, I didn't expect her to actually be there. Worst of all, with Christy, another one of my friends from school, who had been cold after my mom's passing. I hesitated to approach the table once I saw them together. We were all older now, which makes sense. Yeah, I'd be cautious too. It's like you're being ganged up on now.
And she didn't tell you. She said, how you doing? Want to go get lunch? And then she's showing up with a posse.
Yeah, it's like clearly she just thinks that this is all like it's in the past. It blows over. So you don't really care about that anymore, right? Because we were just kids.
Well, even at 17, she didn't see how much of a life-changing event this was for OP. So clearly, if this is how she's approaching it now, that has not changed.
I gave myself a hypothetical 30 minutes. Only 30 minutes. And I never have to see their faces again. I approached the table. We sat down and talked. Hannah talked a lot. Apparently, our old high school teacher who ran the club we were all in together wanted to do a reunion. She couldn't get in contact with everyone and was curious if Hannah wouldn't mind sharing my info. Christy mentioned that I was the only one she couldn't contact. That's it. I anticipated some kind of catharsis to come, but all I felt was rage. I broke. I mentioned what happened after my mom. I mentioned how lonely I felt after being ignored and called annoying for grieving. I mentioned how it took me so long to trust again after the people I considered my friends just left me. That I would come home to an empty house after school instead of my mom cooking dinner or talking to me. And both Hannah and Christy were quiet while I stood there at the point of tears. I can't even remember standing up. I felt childish crying, but seriously, quote, "You send me a message wanting to meet to make amends just to tell me that you're only doing this because a random teacher we sat in class with for 30 minutes every Friday told you to." I composed myself. I wasn't going to have a mental breakdown in the middle of a food court. I needed you then, and I don't need this now. Hannah shut down, and I could tell my words had affected her. Christy just got mad and said there was no point in finding me, and this proved it.
I don't even want you here, Christy. You weren't even supposed to be here, Christy.
Christy, you're not. Go.
You're not a part of this, Christy.
Go.
Scram, Christy.
Go clean your room.
Go clean your room, Christy.
Christy, wake up.
Christy, wake up.
Come on, Christy.
I don't like this.
We've got a little more.
Christy, wake up.
We've got a little more story here. I think this was a perfectly justified crash out.
I
It sounds
agree.
like Hannah maybe got the message a little bit.
I also think maybe needed. Like a lot of people were saying don't even meet up with her, blah, blah, blah. I honestly think maybe OP needed this moment of like catharsis to be like, I don't need you anymore. You
Yeah.
betrayed me. You left me. So long.
Couldn't care less about reuniting with you
Yeah.
people. You all abandoned me when I needed you.
Yeah.
Yeah, and Christy's definitely got the, well, looks like someone's still a buzzkill. It's like,
Someone's still a lame-o.
hardest thing for people to do is to admit that they were wrong.
Yeah.
Christy chalked up everything that happened in school to kids being kids. Okay, I said. I grabbed my things, lightly excused myself, and left. I cried once I made it back to my car. They have changed, but it's clear they haven't changed how they felt about how they treated me. Never once did they say sorry. They clearly expected me to just get over it. Again, sorry for the long post, but I hope putting this out there gives me the clarity I needed. Thank you for listening. And we have some more comments. This guy is awesome, says, you should reach out to the teacher and tell them what happened back then and now. I don't even know if that's needed, but
I don't
let's
think
keep
we
going.
need that.
Then let them know that's why you won't attend. OP says, the club teacher, Miss Diaz, was actually aware of the situation at the time. I had been telling her and actually had been attending the club only for events, but never activities. She accommodated me. I would like to get back to her to express my appreciation for her. Comment, what was the point of setting up a meeting? That crap could have been in a text message. Comment 2, total speculation, but I wonder if they thought she would be over it and accept that they were just kids and make everything go back the way it was. Yeah, clearly that is the case.
Yeah.
Judging by the reactions to OP telling them off, they know they were wrong and did something messed up, but still haven't accepted any accountability. Comment 3 says, I can understand both sides. I lost my dad and didn't have time to grieve because someone has to be present and do stuff, and it helped me in some ways. I didn't even remember what was happening in the first few days because I was extremely busy, but after that, I was just fine on the outside for work and for friends. I do talk about him, but without crying. My mom had it different. She feels more open and she wants to cry together and talk about it in such details that people don't need to know. She became surprisingly religious for a few months. Everything was about her grief, and it was really hard on people around her. I did suggest therapy multiple times, but her answer was always, I don't need therapy, I have family, and I can't talk about it with strangers. Family can only take so much. Family can't cry all the time, and it's became insufferable for them at some point, and I could understand that. And that's the end of that story.
I broke up with my girlfriend because she wanted to stay a virgin.
Well, who else is gonna birth Jesus?
I, 23 male, met my ex, 21 female, 3 years ago. We lived on campus at uni in different halls of residence. After a few months, we got together and, for the most part, had a very happy relationship. There was always one issue, though. By the way, this comes from Throwaway 1010102. And if you want to submit your own stories, go to the r/OKStorytime subreddit. I'm Carly.
I'm Sophia.
I'm Keon.
And we're here to give good advice goofily, but we don't have all the answers. We only know what we would do. Let us know what you would do in the comments. And OP says, my ex grew up in a very religious home. Her father is a pastor. She has been open with her family that she does not share their faith. Nevertheless, I think some of that religious upbringing was still in her mind. I grew up in a different religion, but was never very serious about it and am no longer religious. Our relationship was pretty normal, except that she told me very early that she was a virgin and wanted to stay that way until she was married. It wasn't for religious reasons, as I mentioned, she isn't religious, but she was very focused on not disappointing her dad. We did other spicy-related things, just not intercourse. I never had much luck with girls growing up, and going into the relationship, I was a virgin. I was becoming more resentful of the fact that everyone I know was having normal spicy-related relationships, and we weren't. I couldn't understand why she didn't want to have a full spicy sleep relationship, though I never pressured her about it. I felt that while I was at uni and pretty broke, getting married was something for the future. Last year, I was in my final year of uni, and she was working in her first professional job. She was talking a lot about all these successful guys she met at work, which did make me feel lesser as I was still a broke uni student. Coupled with her not wanting a full spicy-related relationship, it did make me feel more resentful. We had some arguments about it. And after a while, I felt that I should end the relationship as we wanted different things and our lives were on different paths. It was awful. She was crying a lot and I felt terrible afterwards. It has been nearly 6 months since we broke up. We haven't been in touch at all for most of the time. I have not been involved with anyone else in that time, as I was 100% focused on finishing my degree. I have finally finished uni and am about to start my first professional job. She recently got in touch again and asked to meet up. I was hesitant, but I decided we had so much good history that I should hear her out. She told me she's been missing me terribly these past 6 months, that she thinks she wants to get back together and is open to having a spicy-related relationship now. I asked her why now? What changed? And she looked uncomfortable. After a little prying, she said she had a short-term fling with one of the older guys at work while we were broken up. She said he persisted with her until she started having spicy sleep with him. She ended it with him recently. She was clear that it was consensual, but that the guy was very persistent with pursuing spicy sleep with her. I was gutted. I couldn't understand why she'd make me wait all those years, but was fine doing it with some new guy she'd only been seeing a short time. I asked if the reason she was open to having a spicy-related relationship now is because she wasn't a virgin anymore. She said yes. I asked her to give me some space to process all this. I'm conflicted, and I would love some advice on this. I've missed her a lot and still have strong feelings for her, but at the same time, it feels like I was strung along for years. It's hard to put my finger on why I don't want to take her back. Everything logically makes sense for us to get back together. I'd even get to finally have a spicy-related relationship with her. But I feel awful about this whole thing, and I don't want to ignore those feelings, and we have an update.
I don't think it is unreasonable for OP to have feelings about this. And I think it is totally fine if you don't want to get back together with her because you guys were on a different page. And you've already seemingly come to kind of, I don't know, come to the conclusion that, oh, we've broken up.
Yeah.
That's that. And then she's come back and kind of changed things up. So I think it's totally fine. If you don't want to have a relationship with her, just don't.
Totally valid to
attack her
have those feelings and stuff. I would also, though, challenge you to think about her feelings a little bit and maybe understand from her perspective, maybe she wasn't super just like willy-nilly, I'm gonna have spicy sleep with this man now.
And you could even have a further conversation with her. Because
Yeah.
you said, I didn't really understand why she didn't want to have spicy sleep when we were in the relationship. Maybe we just have like a fully honest conversation.
The title of my last post was not great, really. I broke up because we were not having spicy sleep, not because she was a virgin. Bear in mind, for 3 years, Ellie had everything she wanted from our relationship. Boyfriend, love, affection, loyalty, support, and a guy who respected her wishes to be abstinent. While she got 100% of what she wanted, for me there was a big element missing, and there was no way to reconcile that. Either we were having spicy sleep or not having it. Spicy sleep requires both to say yes, and that wasn't going to happen. With hindsight, I should have ended the relationship early on. When Ellie first told me she wanted to not have spicy sleep until marriage, when we got together, I was a naive 19-year-old who had never had a girlfriend before, so I kind of went along with things because I really liked her and got along with her so well. I fell in love with her, and then kind of felt stuck in a relationship that wasn't what I wanted. Last weekend was the Australia day-long weekend. I was on a camping trip in the Grampians. It felt good to talk about the Ellie situation with my mates around the campfire. Most of them knew Ellie pretty well from our years together, and they had a range of views. One great question a friend asked was whether I would have ever decided to reach out and take Ellie back if she never reached out to me first. The answer was no. It was so obvious to me. That cut through a lot of the confusion for me. I was being too passive in this situation and needed to do what I wanted, not just react to what Ellie wanted. By the time I was on the way home, I had decided to not get back together with her, but that was moot. When I was driving home and got mobile signal again, the network delivered a bunch of messages from Ellie all at once. She said she was wrong to ask me to get back together and that she's back with Tim, fake name now. She also texted that the thing with Tim is more serious than she told me when she last met me. She apologized for misleading me about her and Tim's relationship, and she asked if we could meet to talk about it. No, don't meet with her.
Ellie, what are you doing,
What are we
girl?
doing, Ellie? You don't need to meet with this girl.
No, don't do that.
She's like, I like putting OP on an emotional roller coaster ride.
Made it a little bit more emotional.
I was not happy, so I just texted back no. Not very mature of me, but I wasn't in the mood to hear more about all this. And I was surprised and pissed that she lied to me. She tried calling me, but I didn't want to answer. She sent another text saying, Tim and I had a fight. I shouldn't have come to you. And finally, I'm sorry. When I got home, I was an idiot and let my curiosity get the better of me. I looked Tim up online. I found him on LinkedIn, which gave me his full name. He's a director at the firm, one level below partner. He also has pics on Insta. Lots of posts about his adventures around the world at various events and exotic places, as well as shots with an expensive-looking car. A few photos of him with Ellie with their arms around each other in Singapore in November. I guess that confirms it was serious. He wouldn't have a public pic with her for a casual fling. All that just made me feel bad. No good comes from comparing myself to my ex's successful boyfriend. On Tuesday evening, Ellie knocked at my door. She said she knew I didn't want to talk to her, but she felt bad about everything and hoped I would let her explain herself, clear the air, then I'd never see her again if that's what I wanted. No, you're just giving her the closure.
Yeah.
This isn't going to help you.
It's not gonna help
She showed
you.
up for her own sake, and
You're-
she's guising it as your sake.
She showed up
OP.
because she's guilty.
Yeah, in OP, she's using you as an emotional puppy. She can't get it from Tim, and she's like, OP's a nice guy.
Yeah.
OP,
he'll let
you
me-
know,
he'll let me just
do whatever. Yeah,
Yeah.
he'll be my emotional.
torment him.
Exactly. OP, you say no. You say
get out of my house.
leave.
Well, unfortunate. I let her in.
No, she's a vampire.
Dang it.
I let her in. It was a long, heavy conversation over 4 hours. But here's the gist as I remember it. When we broke up, she was devastated. She said it took a couple months before she started to feel a bit better. She missed me constantly and wanted to see me the whole time, but when I ended it, we agreed to keep apart and heal. In September, she met Tim at work. He manages a different team. She doesn't work for him. She said he was very charming and attractive and showed almost immediate interest in her. They got to know each other and he asked her out. She was worried it was a rebound, but felt so much better getting his attention that she went along with it. After dating for a while, she developed feelings for him that later led to a spicy-related relationship. I asked her whether he had pressured her into spicy sleep. She said she was trying to not upset me. She thought if she gave the impression she was reluctant to have a spicy sleep with Tim, that I wouldn't think as badly of her. So yeah, my thoughts earlier are now also moot.
Wait, what did she say?
She wasn't pressured by Tim in any way, shape, or form to have spicy sleep. She just said that to save OP's feelings.
Pretty messed up.
That's a very messed up thing to lie
Because that's a big
about.
accusation. And
Here I was. This girl had me out here being like, be there for her. Make
Yeah.
sure she's okay if you can.
that's
Nah.
a pretty messed
was
up
lying.
accusation.
She just wants to feel good, and then she goes to OP.
Yeah.
So it was a story to try and spare my feelings. I told her it just made me worried she had been harmed. She looked shocked at that and said no way. She was actually the one who initiated their spicy relationship. She burst into tears and said something like, "I thought you must hate me now." I assured her that I didn't. She said she was sad it didn't work for us, but that she never would have dropped her virginity commitment if we had not broken up. After we broke up, she decided that it was a commitment she made to her dad when she was still a kid, and it was messing with the life she wants now. So by the time she and Tim got into their relationship, she had already decided she was ready for spicy sleep with the right person. I asked why she asked to get back together. Tim is older, she told me he's 32, and has been at the firm for 10 years. One day at work, one of the women made a snarky comment to Ellie about being another one of Tim's girls. She did some digging, and it turns out Tim has a history. He has dated a long list of women from work. Several of them were young graduate employees, just like Ellie. The rumor around the office is that Ellie is just the next girl to get used by him. She was horrified. She accused Tim of using her. They argued, and she told him it was over. Soon after that, she came to me. She felt as if we might be able to rekindle things now that she was open to a spicy-related relationship. But my hesitation and time to calm down made her realize that was a mistake. Over the weekend, Tim asked her to work things out, and she decided to give it a chance. So I guess that's settled. I don't want her back, and she's in a relationship, so she doesn't want me back either. We chatted a bit about how our families are going. She congratulated me on finally finishing uni. She asked if I had been seeing anyone, and when I told her I'd been studying hard and working a lot since exams with no time for girls, she laughed and said, "I'm still a big nerd." She hoped we could be friendly if we ever see each other, but she wants to keep out of contact out of respect for her relationship with Tim. She wants to give it a real chance of working. She gave me a hug, said thank you for understanding, and left. Also, when they mentioned that Tim was quite a bit older, I was picturing like a almost retirement age man.
Oh,
Not 32.
yeah, but well, she's like young 20.
I know. I
Yeah,
was still
that's still-
picturing like
Yeah, 60.
at least 50.
Dang, that would be pretty old. I'm glad Tim isn't 50. But you know, it's still that he's 32.
Yeah.
She's like 20.
I'm not saying that age gap is good. I'm just saying
You
when I read
thought.
32, I breathed a slight sigh of relief because I thought it was worse.
Yeah. We
Still
usually
not
do get
great,
worse.
but I thought it was worse. So there you have it. Ellie involved me in her relationship drama. I would have preferred she hadn't, but at least it's sorted now. I'm glad I paid attention to my feelings and took time out to consider things, as it could have been very messy if I had taken her back. Trusting my gut has been the biggest lesson for me in all of this. I still care for her despite recent events. She was my first love, and I expect I'll always have warm memories of her, but I'm clear now that I don't want her back. She is my past, and I want to look forward. Sorry, guys. I can now focus on launching my new career with no distractions. I've worked so hard for so long to get here. My new job starts on Monday. It's going to be so great building actual real experience in my new profession. I'm open to finding someone new, but that is way down my priority list. And we have a new update.
There's more.
There's more.
Oh boy.
He bumps
Someone
into
get
Ellie.
Tim out of storage.
Who put Tim in the box?
Where is Tim?
Where's the box with Tim?
Is he labeled under spoons? Dang it.
He might be.
Blast. I'll look for him.
New update.
Oh boy.
Bumped into Ellie again. Many of you said I would see Ellie, now 22 female, again, and you were right. I've been working since February as a graduate engineer, and it's been everything I hoped it would be. I'm meeting amazing, smart people, learning so much every day, and I'm finally earning a salary after years of being a broke student. When I finished uni in November, I moved in with my brother temporarily. He found a new housemate, and since his place was on the wrong side of the CBD for my job, I moved into a shared house in the southeast of Melbourne. The location and my housemates have been great. I'm seeing someone. I'll call her Olivia, not her real name. She's the sister of one of my housemates. We met when my housemate and I had a barbecue, and she dropped by. We got talking, and we're still talking hours later until everyone else had left. I asked her out that week, and we've been close since. We agreed to be exclusive 6 weeks ago, so it's still quite new. She's so cool and smart and gorgeous. The chemistry was instant and intense from the moment we met. We just clicked so well. It's such a great time when we're together. Olivia is an accountant at a big firm. One of Olivia's workmates was having a party last month, and she asked me to come and meet some of her work friends. At one point, I offered to grab more drinks. As I was getting them, a guy asked me to pass him an adult soda from the fridge. I introduced myself, and he said, "Hi, I'm Tim." And to clarify, Tim is the fake name from the post. He has an unusual name. We chatted a couple of minutes about our jobs and how we know Jess. Then I just said, "Nice to meet you," and I returned to the group. I didn't recognize his face as I'd never met him before, but it was definitely Ellie's Tim. His job and firm line up. On the tram ride home, I must have been quiet because Olivia asked me what was on my mind. I said that the Tim guy at the party was, or maybe still is, my ex's boyfriend. I said I didn't think he knew who I was, or if he did, he didn't say anything. That prompted me to share some history about me and Ellie. Olivia was wide-eyed and said, "You never told me you were a virgin." Then she laughed and said, "Well, we took care of that."
I feel like you should have said that. I don't know, not necessarily because.
Well, he was once one, but now he's no longer one.
Well, no, I just
But
mean
that
like
happened
before
with
you
Olivia.
have,
Oh, at
yeah,
the
before
beginning?
you have
Oh.
a spicy sleep with Olivia. I feel like it's, at least for you, I think it's
I'm interested
relevant
to
for
know that
you.
she couldn't tell.
Well, yeah, I guess he's just good.
She asked if I had any feelings for Ellie, and I truthfully said no. I dealt with all of that months ago. More recently, there was a formal charity dinner that Olivia was asked to support. Her employer was a sponsor of the event. She was keen to show you off, aka show me off. We were at a table with a bunch of her work colleagues. After dinner, a few of us were chatting, and I got a tap on the shoulder. I turned around, and to my surprise, it was Ellie. Tim was with her. It was so weird to see her again. Tim said he remembered meeting me at that party, but never made the connection to Ellie until just now. She must have told him about me. Ellie looked very different. She had lost a lot of weight and was very slim. The tight red dress she was wearing made that obvious. She was immaculately made up with what looked to my ignorant eye like expensive jewelry. She changed her hair too, now blonde instead of her natural auburn. She looked like a sleek, rich girl, not the poor pastor's daughter I remember. She looked amazing, but she looked like a different person. Despite her glam looks, when I saw her, I didn't feel anything for her. Just nothing. Ellie said she was so glad to see me, and she had some news. Holding out her hand to show a diamond engagement ring.
Girl does not understand how to read a room or how to read a person at all.
Truly, why did you go up to your ex?
To
You have,
show
like, a
off her
really
diamond
weird,
engagement ring.
to show it off. Go away, Ellie. You're such a bother.
Yeah, Ellie's like, you were my stepping stone. If it weren't for you breaking up with me, I wouldn't
have
be
found
this.
Rich Tim. Tim is so rich. He's like, Ellie, you're not British. Yes.
Tim is so rich, it made
He's
me
like,
British.
you're Australian. She's like, no,
I'm
rich
British
now, and I'm with Tim.
Me and Tim are very happy.
Is he
We're
a
so happy.
is he a Tam?
And then they go, ha 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 ha.
Tim Tam. Ha ha ha. Rich laugh.
Every
What's
time
up?
I saw Tim, I'd be like, "What's up, Tam?"
I know nothing about diamonds, but it looked pretty big and expensive to me. I offered my congratulations to them both. Just then, Olivia walked back over. I introduced her to Ellie and Tim. Olivia put her arm around me, and Ellie's smile seemed to kind of freeze. I didn't really know what else to say, so I just said, "Nice to see you again," and I wished them all the best for the wedding. Tim walked off, and Ellie just sort of stood there for a moment. It was awkward. Later on, as we were leaving, Ellie was staring at us as we walked out. Olivia said later that, "I think she still has a thing for you." I said, "It doesn't matter." A few days later, my brother messaged me saying Ellie stopped by looking for me. Yes, Reddit, you were right. He knew not to share my new address with her, so all he said is I'd moved out. Next day, I received an email from an address I hadn't seen before. It was Ellie. No acknowledgement that she was breaking our agreement to be no contact. No mention she stopped by my old place. It said, "It was so great to see you again. I've missed you." And, "That girl you were with is pretty. How serious is it?"
Oh my god!
Serious enough to
No.
block you.
That's an insane sentence.
Yeah,
Via
how serious
email,
is
by the
that?
way. Via email.
Is it,
How serious is that? Is that just like a little fling?
dear OP, how serious is it? From my
From
phone.
Ellie. Oh. I feel like she would do a sent from my iPhone
Yeah.
and then under it still add from Ellie.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, absolutely.
And telling me she and Tim have big plans for their wedding next year and she hopes I can come. By the way, you can always come on over and listen to more full episodes with stories just like this. Just go to Spotify, Apple Podcasts, or iHeartRadio and search up OK Storytime. Oh, there is a little bit more.
Oh, Ellie, the fact that you made us even a little bit sorry for you,
Yeah.
I'll never forgive you.
Like Storm Kitten says, girl, you're engaged.
You're engaged. E-N-G-A-G-E-D.
Tell Samantha, says Pink Camping.
Tell Samantha.
Justice, ew, not that I'm about to make me say justice for Tim.
Justice for Tim.
His fiance's out here
Yeah.
emailing people.
Yeah. Weirdo. You know what? Two Tims in a pod.
Two Tims in a pod.
Two Tims in a pod.
Tim still hasn't done anything wrong in this story, though.
He's 32. And he's dating a 20. Well, now he's engaged to a
22.
22-year-old.
Yeah,
Just a little
that's
weird.
a little weird.
Especially because not only, but
See,
like
here's the-
especially because he was doing it. He had a streak
Here's
of
my
doing
thing,
it.
though. He has a streak of dating the new recent
Yeah.
grads. He's 32.
Yeah.
If he's been doing that over years, at one point he was also like 24 doing
So he's
it, which is
Leonardo
way
DiCaprio
less
in
weird
it.
to be on the 24 end of it. It is weird now that you're 32, bud. Start dating older people.
Tim's just a little weird. Ellie's a menace. I think that's where
Ellie's
I'm
a
at.
menace. And you know what? For that, maybe they're perfect for each other.
Yeah.
I was annoyed because she's trying to make her life my business again, despite promising no contact. I showed Olivia the email and she rolled her eyes and asked me to think about why my ex would send me that. Olivia is great at cutting through BS and reads people way better than I do. Ellie can't have me back. I'm in a relationship now. Plus, she's engaged, and it's not like I would go to their wedding. Who goes to their ex's wedding? I don't know why she's trying to contact me, but I can guess that she wants to use me for emotional support again. Whatever she wants, it's not happening. She has family and friends, and she can talk to them. I deleted the email, and I blocked the address without replying. Ellie promised she'd keep out of contact and just couldn't help herself. I still intend to keep my word, no contact, even if she doesn't. I've also set up a filter to send any email containing her name to the bin. Olivia and I had a talk after that. I asked if she was concerned about the Ellie thing, but she said no. She's not worried. She didn't get serial unaliver vibes from Ellie. I'm glad none of this has put her off me. So nothing too dramatic, but it does prove you guys were right. Ellie couldn't not contact me despite promising to do so. I was able to sidestep her much more easily than the last time. Ultimately, this is a good news story. Life is so great right now. I've got a cool new girlfriend, a fun place to live, and a new career I love. It has been easy to leave Ellie behind.
Heck
And
yeah.
that's the end of that crazy story.
My husband keeps doing high-risk sports fearlessly.
Join him.
This is coming to a head because at the moment we are on a ski vacation with my family. For the most part, we're having a great time and have my parents, brother, and kids, 2 female, 1 male, and my aunt and cousins and their respective kids, and it's a great time. By the way, this comes from user Saley from NorCal. And if you want to submit your own stories, go to the r/OK Storytime subreddit. My 28 male husband, 31 male, lives for this stuff. But while we are being more social, he's in the lift line at 9, and he comes off the mountain at 4:30 like clockwork. He doesn't take hot chocolate breaks with us, and he doesn't eat lunch with us. He'll eat at the family dinner, but instead of staying up telling stories and drinking wine, he goes to bed and listens to music until he falls asleep. So strike 1, I'm annoyed with him being so antisocial.
Okay.
But the annoyance is compounded by the fact that he's doing behaviors that we have fought over many times. Him not realizing he's not 19 anymore and now has kids and responsibilities. I found out last night that he made friends with a group of local kids who have been showing him the back hills where there are rocks and cliffs to jump off of. But this is off the ski area, so he has to ski down to the road and actually hitchhike back to the ski resort. This is called backcountry skiing. I actually don't. I'm kind of anti-backcountry. I mean, just because it's like...
Hey, man.
It's-
He's just with the cool kids. He wants to hang out with the cool kids. He wants to... He's showing the kids he still got it.
I'm livid, literally seeing red, wanting to do terrible things to him. Angry. This is bad enough. But we have this same fight every time we go anywhere, whether it's surfing or mountain biking or rock climbing, you name it. He's always pushing it. We have this same fight almost every weeknight because he goes to Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu and comes back with his knees tweaked or his face all scratched up. I'm sick of this. In fairness to my husband, he's a great dad, and we had 2 kids much closer in age than we'd planned, and he's very supportive and good at giving me breaks. But that makes his irresponsible behavior even more stark because I can't raise 2 small kids on my own if he breaks himself flying down a mountain with no ski patrol or surfing waves too big, etc. And to add insult to injury, he says he can't wait to take our kids along on all his adventures as soon as they're old enough. Like I said, I can't raise 2 small kids by myself. How do I get him to stop the nonsense and take his responsibilities seriously? There's an edit. This blew up. Sorry, I wasn't around to participate. An ironic twist, I skied all day with my cousin and had so much fun, my husband actually beat me in. To address the most common concerns, we have a huge life insurance policy through my husband's work. As far as I know, it covers everything, but I need to look into it. It's part of his job, so we actually pay very small premiums on it. I used to be a stay-at-home mom. I do miss my career sometimes. Maybe the genders were wrong at the beginning of the story. Could be stay-at-home man, I guess. I don't know. I do miss my career sometimes, as evidenced by my comment, but I love spending time with both kids. My husband works very hard to give me this. Our first was planned, and we'd hoped for several years between kids, but things happen, and it's a little more stressful than I'd hoped, but we love both kids. My dad adores my husband, and he's an introvert like Gregory, so he's to bed while the rest of us are talking late into the night. My dad loves hearing about Greg's adventures, so he's happy paying, which sucks for me because my own dad is not an advocate for my desires. Thank you for all the advice. I have some reading to do. Hopefully I can update when we get home. And there's an update.
Some people are calling it. Yeah, OP's risk averse. OP does not play it safe. And I get that. But you guys have to find a common middle ground, and your husband does need to take a step back as well. But you need to take a step forward. Meet somewhere in the middle where you both are comfortable with what he loves doing and, making sure that it's fun, but also safer is a word, safer. But that's also life. You can't control everything. It's like, you can't just say, hey, stop doing what you love doing. Stay inside so you can be safe to be a father.
Yeah, because I love you and I'm your husband. It's like, that is toxic. Let's get into the update. I spent Monday night carefully reading every single response because there was a ton of value in all of them. One post stood out, and I apologize to whoever made it that I can't mention them by name, but essentially, they said it appeared that I was conflating 2 issues. My husband taking risks and him not being social on vacation. I guess in the interest of brevity, I had left out some details. I found out about Gregory's backcountry skiing because he is essentially my dad's hero, and my dad sat there like a starstruck schoolgirl while Gregory regaled him with tales of backcountry skiing with local teenagers and jumping off 20-foot cliffs into powder. I was deeply annoyed with Gregory because it was the first time he was social with anyone. We were on day 3 of the vacation, and he had literally gone to bed at 8 every night to get up and ski. I was jealous of how much fun my brother's wife and my 2 cousins' spouses were having, being so engaged with the family. So I conflated my annoyance with both him and my dad, frankly, for being antisocial and taking risks. I'm going to pause really quickly because it kind of sounds like you're being antisocial. If you're not having any fun with anyone unless it's your husband.
Perfect example, dude, was when we went to Big Bear. You guys went skiing, and then we had our own thing. We had a great day.
And no one's like, ooh, I'm being excluded. It's like, no, I'm doing my thing.
He just loves skiing, and he's doing it with your dad. I think that's fine. As long as he doesn't completely avoid everyone every single day, and he gets to see you at dinner time.
Yeah,
I think that's fine. Maybe one day of the week is your trip, you all hang out as a family. But
yeah. The posts the other day really helped me realize that I made it a point to be nicer to him. It also helped that Monday night, my cousin's husband got rip-roaring wasted in our condo and started cursing up a blue streak. This with kids aged 1 to 10 all staying in the same relatively small space. He and my cousin had an extremely embarrassing and public fight that started inside and ended outside within earshot of the entire base area village. It made me realize that no matter how annoyed I can get with Gregory and his desire to not be social on most occasions, he will never ever put me through that, which helped me gain some perspective. Then yesterday afternoon, as my cousin and her husband were getting ready to leave, he was acting like a jackbutt while driving. He was probably wickedly hungover. In the parking lot and ended up sliding right into a snowbank, giving their new Lexus some significant body damage. He got out cursing and spewing in the parking lot, all while basically standing like a helpless baby, screaming at my cousin that she needed to call someone, god dang it. Gregory and my dad very calmly dug his car out of the snow, dug up some gravel for traction, and then backed his car out. It took maybe 10 minutes. It made me realize that quite possibly all of Gregory's experience in remote places, while biking, skiing, bow hunting, etc., have taught him to be relaxed and knowledgeable in a high-pressure situation, and he just did what had to be done. I felt very lucky and felt very sorry for my cousin. I was watching this very hungover, overweight man cry in the middle of a parking lot because that's a $6,500 grill on that car. While my very attractive and in shape husband who doesn't drink, nothing even needs to be said about that.
I calls it as I sees it.
My husband who doesn't drink was calmly digging the entire car out. Yesterday morning, I asked him if he would be willing to ski with me that day, and he said absolutely, and that he was hoping we would get at least one day together. So another strike on me for not communicating with him and assuming that he would see me as something of a burden to his ski day. So I didn't even want to ask if he'd ski with me. We actually had a great time together, and he's so experienced, he actually taught me more than I probably ever would have gotten from a paid lesson. Yeah, dude, your husband's sending 20-foot cliffs into powder. He's kind of a badass. Lean into that. Dude, lean into that. Like, what are we talking about? While we were on the chairlift that day, I very calmly brought up my concerns about the backcountry skiing, leaving me to watch the kids on other vacations. As I've said, my mom and aunt are on kid duty this trip, though me and my brother's wife are watching the kids today while my mom and aunt ski. So I've warned him about leaving me with the kids while he goes and does activities. He assured me that the backcountry skiing at this area was very safe, but that in the future he would get all the equipment necessary, like a float coat and people, which he had people there, in order to reduce the risk. And he said he was sorry for leaving me to go surfing on our last trip, and that he would try very hard to communicate beforehand what his desires for any particular trip will be in advance, and have it be a dialectic conversation with give and take versus him just assuming he can bolt off whenever the waves are big. I also said I was sorry for being so cold to him since the trip started, but that I would appreciate him trying to hang out for a little longer each night. He said that it's a thinly veiled secret that he can't stand my cousin's husband because he is constantly trying to one-up and talk down to Gregory for a myriad of reasons.
Thank you, Mr. President.
They also work in a similar field, so I guess there's something of a rivalry there. And now that he's gone, he will be more comfortable. And by the way, you should get comfortable because you've got a lot of listening to do. We have full episodes with stories just like this on your favorite podcast platform. Whatever it is, just search OK Storytime, and you've got 66 days worth of stories to listen to. We do have a little bit more story left. Like, what are our closing thoughts here? Like,
One, great. We should have communicated from the very get-go how you felt and how your husband made you feel. But again, it's on the going to the very beginning of you guys have had this, I guess, argument. I'm not saying you guys are out of the woods, but you guys have had these conversations multiple times. Now we have a reasoning, I guess, for at least when you guys go on family vacations. But if you guys go on a vacation yourselves with your family, it should be the same thing. Like, hey, don't just dip and bolt first thing. And he probably won't. Maybe he will. I don't know. But just let him know, hey, I'm not comfortable with you doing this all the time. You are a father figure. You are a father.
Yeah.
You have some responsibilities. You can still have your fun, but just take a step back.
Yeah.
That's about it.
Let's finish this story. Communication wins again, people. It wins every time. So last night, Gregory cooked steaks for everyone and stayed up a little later. 8:30 is later, right? And chatted and seemed to have a good time. So today, since this was a planned day off for me to watch the kids, we agreed that he could meet his new friends really early so that they could do some in-area hiking before the lift started, and that he could stay out as late as he wanted if the snow was good. So basically, all is good. I love my husband more than words can possibly say, and I'm glad we had this time together, because I think while we had relatively minor problems in the general scheme of things, we're coming out healthier and happier for it. If I hadn't made my post Monday morning, I very well might have made the rest of the vacation miserable for both of us. Thank you very much for all the help. And that is the end of that story. I love OP. I love it. I love it so much.
Now you have to really show up your husband and do like something even more extreme than what he does.
Yeah, you gotta find you have to find your extreme sport
Yeah,
hobby.
go like bungee jumping or like skydiving without a parachute.
Go tornado chasing. Become a tornado hunter.
Well, that's great.
I like where we're at though. It seemed like OP gained a new level of understanding.
Yeah.
Of both themselves and their husband.
My partner refuses to put effort into our relationship, and he blames it on me.
I don't think that's how it works, bud.
My partner, 48 male, and I, 34 female, have been together for a year and a half, and things admittedly started off not on the right foot. He had been unemployed, aside from some freelance gigs and part-time work, for nearly 2 years and blamed the job market where he lived. By the way, this comes from Awkward Parfait 6877, and if you want to submit your own stories, go to the r/OKStorytime subreddit. So, after 6 months together, I suggested that he moved where I lived, which is halfway across the country, to see if location would help with the job search. Prior to the 2 years of unemployment, he had held jobs, raised a kid, and a divorce and layoff threw him off badly. He moved in for 3 months and only worked the last month on a freelance project, and all checks were being sent to his parents' house. I was really struggling to accommodate us both, and I expressed that multiple times and was met with, "I'm looking," or "I can't get a regular job because I'm neurodivergent." Essentially, I paid for everything outside of him helping with groceries on a credit card. I helped him make about 80% of a commission project. We both built things using my shop and tools, and he wasn't on the lease, so he couldn't use machines. We delivered that project back in his hometown. He also accepted the cash for that project and decided to pay down his credit cards and keep the rest. I was extremely upset, but kept my composure until we were driving back home. I mentioned on the last leg of the drive that I had been thinking about it, and he needed to have some form of income and help with the bills, or he needed to move back home, to which he responded with, "It's really unattractive how much you overextend yourself." I was then furious and told him that he needed to move out immediately.
Bye.
I was upset about the timing on my part, as I realized I should have had that conversation while we were in his hometown and not so he had to drive back home. A few days later, he reached out confused at my reaction. He then sent me money for half of the commission, and we decided to take a break. 5 months passed before we saw each other in person again. He had gotten a good job, and on that trip, his mom took a bad fall and was hospitalized. That ended up taking up most of our time that week. I admit it wasn't the best way to reunite, but it was out of our control, and it was tense. His parents' house is a very toxic environment, and he has spent most of the past 3 years in a bedroom, rarely being able to use the living space. I saw the cycle he's been in on a new level. He decided to then rush the process of moving out into his own place, which felt like it should have been done, but he wanted a savings cushion over the next month. His job let go of his 2 employees, and he had 3 times the workload and was also helping care for his mom. So I suggested that I could take a week to come and help him pack and move. He took the offer. The week went mostly fine. Obviously, moving is always tense, so I tried to accommodate for that. The day I was heading back to the airport was timed so that he could take me to the airport, and he was close by his office. He works remotely, but he has to go in 1 day a week. My flight got changed about 40 minutes before we boarded, so we made the last minute decision to just head to his office, and we could figure it out from there. I had to be back home to record an important podcast the next morning, so I had to make a quick decision. I asked if he could take me after work since my flight was pushed to 8 p.m., and he said that he doesn't like driving in rush hour traffic, so I would need to take a Lyft. I was nervous because money has been extremely tight lately, and it would be a $40 plus difference during rush hour. I then tried to pivot and ask if he could take me first thing in the morning for a direct flight. He responded with, "Oh, well, this was really the only convenient way for me to get you here. I don't want to do that either." So I switched to the next closest flight and booked a Lyft before we even got to the office. I was crying at this point, and he did not understand why, and I had about 2 minutes to get in the Lyft, so I quickly said goodbye and left. He sent me money for the Lyft and some electrical outlets I bought and tried to install in his daughter's room as they were outdated, as I was boarding my flight. He texted me hours later checking in, to which I responded I was upset that he couldn't be more accommodating and I'd really like to talk the next day. He went mostly silent for 3 days. I got emotional, and he said that he was very sick, but I saw that he was active on several social media platforms, and he would occasionally say, "Hey, what's up?" But as soon as I asked when we could talk, he would go silent again.
Yeah, he's got this special type of sickness that only shows up when you're trying to avoid conversation.
When I confronted him, he finally responded with, "This felt like the last time you overreacted. Talking about me,
punting him out. We finally spoke yesterday after taking almost a week with no contact. I told him I'm pretty much done. I love him, but this really feels like I'm constantly trying to accommodate for someone who is okay with convenience. His response is that relationships are hard, and if I give up on us right now, I will just hit the same problem with someone down the road later, and that the source of our problems has been me being overextending and being hyper independent, and I haven't given him the chance to prove himself. It's been a year and a half, and I feel like I did a lot financially and emotionally, and I just want to be taken care of too. He says I'm not allowing that and not asking for what I need, but I also feel like I shouldn't have to ask for basic things like contributing to bills and trying to get my partner to the airport. Putting the additional burden of me having to tell him how to treat me feels wrong. But he was also so blatantly confused yesterday when I was explaining myself. It makes me feel crazy. How do I give this guy space to prove himself when he hasn't shown up prior, yet believes that he just wasn't given the space to? And there is an update.
I'm gonna give him so much space.
Yeah, you give him so
I'm gonna
much
give
space.
so much space. This is what I like to call, I don't know if you were here, a team rocket where they blast off.
Yeah.
They're fine.
They're fine.
They're fine. They'll come back.
Yeah.
But we're blasting them off because I don't want to see them.
There'll be a little twinkle in the sky.
There'll be a little twinkle in the sky.
Yeah, I agree. You have given him the chance. Like the only
He gets so much
reason
space.
that OP thinks that she hasn't given him a chance is because he is like gaslighting her into thinking that.
He's like,
Yeah.
He's just whining.
It's like, oh, I'm sorry.
Someone call the wambulance.
Like I haven't
whiner.
given you the chance to take care of me, and I don't ask for help when I asked you to drive me to the airport.
He's just speaking nonsense.
He's speaking nonsense.
He's speaking in tongues, except none of them are real languages. It's just nonsense.
Yeah. There is an update. I ended things Sunday before last.
Yes,
Let's
huzzah!
go. Over a simple text summarizing the issues I had and why they were the baseline of me wanting to end things and move forward. I had to resort to the text because he kept pretending that I didn't break up over the phone. I requested that we don't speak anymore, and he responded with a short and simple text saying he had no choice but to honor my decision, and it was a disappointment, but he wishes me the best. He actually finally said, "I'm sorry," at the very end, which was unbelievable. Friday, I get a box in the mail with some clothes that I forgot at his apartment, and as I'm going through it, I saw a little gift bag. I open it, and there's a ring that was clearly wrapped in a gift shop and a manically scribbled note. "I was going to give you this in New Mexico," which was our last planned trip together. "It's yours and always will be, so I hope you like it." Followed by scribbled out hearts and his name. I know this was my engagement ring because he spoke about wanting to buy me one when he took a trip to New Mexico back in January. It's so close to what he described as being what he saw speaking to us. I know that it is. Even looking back and realizing his version of my engagement ring was not what I cared for spoke volumes. That's just really, that's something that means it feels small, but like she said, when someone picks something out that is completely not your taste, it's like, do you even know who I am? And that has happened to me before.
You don't even know.
Not with this guy though.
Aw.
Not with this guy.
Don't worry, I will never get you a heart necklace.
Yeah, don't ever get me stud earrings.
You got
either.
it.
You crazy.
Got stud earrings one
I
time.
get you ring
He
like
said he
loop
picked it out
earrings.
for an hour,
That's embarrassing.
and it was stud earrings.
That's
Sorry.
embarrassing.
What did you say?
Oh, I said I'd probably give you like loop earrings if I gave you something small.
Something simple.
Yeah.
Be simple every day.
I had to
Yeah,
put
sure.
like on this top part or something like
I
that.
honestly wouldn't mind a heart necklace, but it would have to be really small, like gold thing.
But anyway, I agree with you, OP. I also agree with the fact that we have more full episodes of stories just like this one on iHeartRadio, Apple Podcasts, whatever podcast app you
way.
like. Just search OK Storytime.
Search it up, man.
You're
Search
gonna find
it
all
up.
those stories. I know the note is vague for a reason. I know this is his last way to get back at me for the breakup. In turn, I built this man a custom cabinet talking about 60 plus hours of work that I never planned to send to him. Feels manipulative and mean, and I really just want to handle this in a way that's appropriate and doesn't open a window for discussion. Do I just silently keep it? Pawn it off? I can't stand looking at it. My friend suggests just mailing it back as is, note left in it, and all. So there is no way that he can say that he did it. Not sure what to do. I would sell it.
Yeah.
I would sell it.
Pawn it off.
For sure.
Get rid of it.